Yeah, man! Serious times down in Johannesburg. Watch the fire now. Listen! The horns! Oh, yeah. The stage was set, the lights were low for the big G20 show. Leaders coming from across the sea to talk about the world economy. Johannesburg was dressed to impress, ready to clean up the global mess. But before the first gavel could sound, a different kind of noise started going around. Now everybody talking about Cyril's big blunder. He lighting the match while we standing under. You think you're smart with that devious smile, but you're burning down the bridge for mile after mile. Oh, Cyril's big blunder, what a heavy price when you're playing politics and rolling the dice. The party is cancelled, the guests wouldn't come. Now we dancing alone to the beat of the drum. The Guinean politicians step up to the mic, spewing out words that nobody like. They open their mouths and the fire jump out, insulting America, scream and shout. They're telling tall tales, they're telling the lies, right there under the African skies. And the media catch it, they run with the ball, they amplify the noise until the whole thing fall off. Talking about Cyril's big blunder, he lighting the match while we standing under. You think you're smart with that devious smile, but you're burning down the bridge for mile after mile. Oh, Cyril's big blunder, what a heavy price when you're playing politics and rolling the dice. The party is cancelled, the guests wouldn't come. Now we dancing alone to the beat of the drum. Yeah. Watch the house of cards, they're tumbling over. Yeah, blow it down, what a mess. I look at the president sitting up high, I see that little twinkle in his eye. He cracking that smile, that devious grin, while the diplomatic ice is getting very thin. You think the eagle gonna take that heat? Nah, sir, they won't take a seat. No Uncle Sam at your Josie party. You chase them away, you're acting too hearty. It's Cyril's big blunder, he lighting the match while we standing under. You think you're smart with that devious smile, but you're burning down the bridge for mile after mile. Oh, Cyril's big blunder, what a heavy price when you're playing politics and rolling the dice. The party is cancelled, the guests wouldn't come. Now we dancing alone to the beat of the drum. Yeah, yeah, they staying away America now come to Johannesburg today. You set the house on fire, man, what kind of plan? Cyril, wipe that smile off your face. It's a disgrace. No, sir. No, sir.
Yeah, it's the 16th of December. The sun is high, the waves are blue, while everybody's chilling in Bolito. Someone's got something else to do. Down in Durban, they're soaking up the spray. It's a holiday, baby, reconciliation day. Nobody's at the office, nobody's on the clock, except for the agents heading down the block. They're swarming through the hallways, looking for a file, losing all the rhythm, losing all the style. In a wood-made office, the air turns cold. A story's being written that's already getting old. Demanding every paper, searching for a name. Intimidation is the spirit of the game. They said, where are the Americans? We need them in a row. But then they changed the script for the midday show. It was the raid on wood-made under a summer sky, a holiday hustle, a convenient little lie. They said, Hakuna Matata, don't you be afraid. We only want the canyons, it was quite the masquerade. Oh, the raid on wood-made, relations take a fall, building up the tension, building up the wall. Now Ronald's got got a scheme and home affairs is talking fast, trying to make a holiday work ethic really last. The public's looking sideways, the logic doesn't flow. Working on a Friday, on a holiday, no. Was the KFC closed? Was there nothing left to eat? Is that why the uniforms are out on the street? Somebody doxed a diplomat, his secrets on the loose. Now Washington is tightening the diplomatic news. The ancient says it wasn't me. Washington says we shall see. A stumble, a tumble, a diplomatic crack. Once you cross that line, there's no turning back. No turning back. It was the raid on Woodmead under a summer sky. A holiday hustle, a convenient little lie. They said Hakuna Matata, don't you be afraid. We only want the Kenyans, it was quite the masquerade. Oh, the raid on Woodmead, relations take a fall. Building up the tension, building up the wall. Summer sky, a holiday hustle, a convenient little lie. They said, Hakuna Matata, don't you be afraid. We only want the Kenyans, was quite the masquerade. Oh, the raid on with me, relations take a fall. Building up the tension, building up the wall. Check the calendar. Reconciliation doesn't feel like it in Woodmead. Keep your papers ready, mate. Hakuna Matata. Right? Don't coot in bed.
Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming, it's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
The raid on Woodmead. It was quite the masquerade. We only want the Kenyans, you see. Hey, make sure you have your papers, mate. Welcome back, folks. See? Hey, on a Saturday, December 27th, 2025. Lots of time left to boost the numbers for the channel and Super Chat. Speaking of Super Chat, there's one right there from Philip Holtz. How's life? How's the girlfriend? How's the wife? Nice phrase. Fine, I guess. How you guys doing? Let's get the alert boxes turned off because we had like 50 gifted memberships and that was disturbing people. Welcome back, everybody, on a Saturday. We haven't had many of these recently because of the rugby, but today it's no South African sides playing. Glasgow's playing right now against Edinburgh, and Glasgow leads 7-0 in the second half, 49 minutes off the clock. Holly Davidson is the official calling the game, doing a good job as usual. The tall, lanky, tall drink of water for a lady, that is, Holly Davidson. And Vilma, thank you for your membership. 14 months. It's awesome. You've been here since before the surge took place. See? People, oh, that was a forward pass. How did she not call that? Anyway, so we got that game going on. My Super Brew, I don't know how it's doing now. I was watching it earlier, but welcome back. I hope you're all having a good weekend. How's my, well, I was just wondering how my Super Brew is doing. It did well yesterday. Not brilliant. I got one wrong. But why does it keep telling me to log in? This is annoying. Remember this device, damn it. Log in. Okay. So how are we doing? Super Brew, ooh, not so great. I got 2 out of 3 yesterday, and I have 2 out of 4 right now. I need Bristol to get off their butt and come back. They're trailing Newcastle. And Benetton and Zebra Parma. I thought that was already a game underway. That's odd. Glasgow I have winning, and I have Saracens winning by 7. They're winning by 3 at the moment. So it's okay, not great. Zebra versus Benetton. Yeah, I know. Why is it 67th minute? Okay, thank you. So this score is wrong. You've got Benetton winning. That's the score I had. I had Benetton winning that game by 7, so that'll get me a point. Anyway, thank you for that. Yes, I'm the same time zone as New York. That is correct. Yeah, New York is 3 hours from here. The city's 4 hours. Yeah, well, that's 4 hours away. Can you tell us more about what you said on your post? The cutoff in January, is that for people that have not been contacted, or will that have been? No, you're hearing what you want to hear. I didn't say anything about any cutoff. What cutoff are you talking about? All I did was address the question which people ignored when I told them about it back in October and again in November, and then when the resolution was passed. I didn't say anything about things being cut off. What I said is that the continuing resolution expires on January 30th, and unless the Senate and House pass a new resolution or, God forbid, a budget by January 30th, then the government will shut down again. That's what I said. Chaos Juggler, thank you for your membership. That's what I said, Avi. Okay. Philip, welcome to you. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats up here because some people were chatting well before we got started. Babyface, Bossy Cup. I can't say hello to everybody. The Velvet Blue, I'll see some new names here I haven't seen before. Gail568, welcome to you. Charles Edward Cook. Charles Van Alten, the voice of reason, is with us. Johan Breitenbach. Peter Talliard. Catch the stream a bit later. Kitchen Eats. Okay, all right, Sven, thanks for popping in, but come back later and watch the whole thing. It'd be great. Leona Watley, just Ainers here. Alan is back. Hey, Alan, what's going on, man? Max Limpopo, it's scorching. My goodness. Thank you for your comment message. Have a great day. Also be watching a rugby game tonight. Yeah, I'll be watching definitely that'll be one I'm watching the TV. I'm getting a new Roku player, folks. That should be coming here after I finish the broadcast. We got some snow finally last night or this morning. A little bit of dusting. It's just a dusting. The road's not even covered. Just a little bit on the grass, a little bit on the car. Slight dusting. Not like New York, which got pummeled. And we're going to talk about that. Org Fenter, welcome to you. Jared Horn. There's May. Is Maze here? I thought I saw Maze. Wills. Elmarie Mayer. Rion. Okay, let me get to the chats now. I'm going to jump ahead here. Sorry about that, folks. All right. How to get involved in Afghanistan? Well, we hired lots of people in Iraq and Afghanistan, so they probably knew each other from that. Don Janssen von Rensburg, what's up there? New flat screen. Oh, your kids gave you a flat screen for Christmas. Awesome, Don. That's brilliant. Okay. Now let's tell everybody you live in Port Elizabeth so that they don't come near your home. If you live in Port Elizabeth, I apologize. I assume you lived elsewhere. Paul Stapleberg's back again. Okay, so what else we got here? Philip, okay, then it was this. I answered Avi's question and Vilma's super membership. Did I miss another super chat? I thought there's another one. Mad Max left you 4 surprise watch, so I think you will love them. From the Afro one is my favorite pick. Okay, all right, Mad Max. Let me see what you got there. You must have sent it some time ago because it's not showing up here. Okay. Wyatt Army. That's cute. I like that. These are funny. Okay, so what's the difference between that one? Oh, it's a video. Oh, these are videos. Oh my goodness, I thought they were just pictures. All right, Max, hang on. I got to show people this. Before we get to the news, folks, hang on. This is too funny. So we got to save that one. Let me do that one. Let me do this in here now. I'll just pick this one at random. I got a pinched nerve in my back this morning. Hurts. Also later today, I want to fix that phone. I still haven't fixed all these ages. All right, let's see what Max came up with here now. I'll show you the first thing. Also, this came yesterday, too. Someone sent me this. I hope this isn't going to be a copyright strike. Yeah, I think it will be, so we have to put this on mute. So someone will probably give me copyright. But this is very nice. Somebody did this. They sent this. That's cute. If that's had the music on, it's definitely going to get me a copyright claim. That's clever, though. Or AI and these babies. AI, people loving this stuff. I like the Wyatt baby. It's well done. Okay, so let me get to these other ones now. So this is the image he sent me. Gosh bless it. Where's that? There it is. Okay. It's pretty good. I like this one. It's like I'm a cartoon hero now, man. Check it out. Colonel Wyatt calls out your BS. The media. I like that. That's pretty good. He's making me look older, man. The only wrinkles I have there are the ones on my forehead. Come on. Anyway, that's pretty funny. Now let's see what he's got in store for video. I hope he doesn't give me a song, gets me a copyright claim here. We'll see. Okay, Wyatt Army needs you. Oh, I thought it was. Why does it say? Oh, that's the wrong one. I clicked on the wrong one. My bad. No, that is it. Wait a second. Why did it say 3.09? Then it gives me an image. I don't understand that. Is that a video or not? I thought that was a video because it said 309. Oh, that was the time it came. Oh, okay. That's a picture. I thought you did a video. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so this is a picture. Okay, so this is a good picture too. So not a video. Okay, no copyright claim. So this one here is what Max also made. There you go. Get all the Pikachus, man. Oh my goodness, look at that. That's pretty funny. All right, so there we have it, folks. There's that. So that was good. Thank you for that one. All right, yeah, so we've caught up with the super chats. If the law is broken, yes, the law is broken, the law is broken. Well, people trying to skirt around the law. 51 minutes, 52 minutes now off the clock of that Glasgow-Edinburgh game. It being played at Murray Field in Edinburgh, and Glasgow still leading 7-3. And they're a big scrum victory from their own 5-meter line for Glasgow pushes the ball down the field. So, yeah, a lot of new names. Well, some aren't new names, Karen. Some are people who have changed their username because they're in the States now or something like that. Gut! Grüß dich, Oberst. Ich habe die schweren Jungs hier zum Brei. You know who. Oh, great. Fantastic. You're having a big braai? That's awesome. Well, it is summertime in South Africa, so you guys having braais. Weather is crap, but braai, we will braai. Yeah, well, it's hot. Glasgow with the ball still. Anyway, so that one's going well. If you pick Glasgow to win, which I did. All right, let's get to the news, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done it already. That costs you nothing but a moment of your time.
That was easy.
Yeah, see, just hit that like button. Piece of cake. And if you give a super chat, it is the Christmas season. Feel free to give. All right, yes, Will says, please, no refugee questions. And also, no direct questions to me if you don't mind while we go through the news. Be patient, and we'll chat afterwards. All right, by the way, I did check my stream. It's holding steady at 40 megabytes before I started, so I don't know if they fixed the problem wherever it was, but I don't know. So it's working now, but there's still supposed to be someone coming out here on Monday, apparently, or the 31st. That's Tuesday. All right, let's get to the news. President Trump invited white South Africans to America. No, he invited South Africans. One ended up in detention. An Afrikaner flew to the United States expecting protection. Instead, he spent months locked up in a Georgia detention center alongside hundreds of other immigrants. No, they're criminal alien invaders. They're not immigrants. If they're immigrants, they wouldn't be in prison. Benjamin Schoonwinkel took President Trump at his word, except he didn't. Mr. Schoonwinkel heard what he wanted to hear or did what he wanted to do and didn't listen to what President Trump said. President Trump offered refugee status, not a scam to get in the country and jump the queue, which is what Mr. Benjamin Schoonwinkel did. Mr. Benjamin Schoonwinkel got on a plane in September, instead of applying for the program, flew to America, presented himself to immigration, and said, I'm applying for asylum, which is a fraudulent attempt to enter the United States. Hence, he was put in handcuffs, arrested, and carted off to a detention center. Now, Mr. Schoonwinkel apparently left a farm behind in South Africa and now finds himself in uncomfortable circumstances. Mr. Rosenbluth is an attorney who was brought to be hired for him. Mr. Rosenbluth exposed his bigotry and hatred of America and the Trump administration, and I guess white people in general, by saying that I was shocked to find out that he was white. I assumed he was black because he was in prison. That's what the guy said. Wow. Very stupid move by Mr. Schoonwinkel. Now, either it's because the shadow banning people didn't discover my channel and know about it back in February, and hence since that time, or Mr. Schoonwinkel did this intentionally. I have my suspicions, but I seriously doubt that Mr. Schoonwinkel is that stupid that he can manage to run a farm, book a ticket for himself, fly to America, and he thinks that he's going to get away with this. I think he was trying to get away with something. Anyway, that's my thought. Yep, always one in the crowd. So he's in prison right now. The United States would welcome South Africans like Mr. Schoonwinkel, white Afrikaners who Trump said had been victims of government discrimination in the decades since apartheid ended, the country's black majority gained political power. In September, Mr. Schoonwinkel boarded a flight from Joburg to Atlanta. On arrival, he told border agents he was seeking asylum, but he hadn't come through the refugee program as Trump administration intended. Rather, the 59-year-old had chosen to travel on a tourist visa and to fraudulently seek asylum. Instead of being allowed in the country, he found himself in handcuffs. Within 2 days, he was in a federal detention center in rural Georgia, where the 2,000 people have been swept up in Mr. Trump's immigration crackdown. He has been there for almost 100 days. I never expected this to happen. I expected a little bit of red tape. So you thought you could defraud America. Look, you're not welcome to come here and defraud us, folks. We've made something available to people who are suffering, not people who have the means to just be asses like this guy was. He should be wearing a sign. Yep, I see there's very little empathy for the guy on my channel. Yep. Village idiot, yep. Well, white shouldn't be written with a capital letter. Neither should black. Neither should be. Unless it's a title of something. I haven't connected for some time. I hope you had a great Christmas. Well, Willy DeWitt, why not? Where have you been hiding? Where have you been hiding? Hell, is it 6 o'clock in Antarctica? People only hear what they want to hear, comprehend. Yep, it is. It is. Comprehension is an endangered skill. You're right. Jonathan Janssen van... Oh, we got the Janssen van Rensburgs back now. I can become Chris Janssen van Rensburg again. I used to have so many Janssen van Rensburgs. Bram, Janssen van Rensburg, so many. We haven't seen a lot of them lately. Mr. Schoenwinkel, who speaks English and Afrikaans, now shares a dormitory with dozens of immigrants. They are not immigrants, New York Times. They are criminal alien invaders. Immigrants come to this country legally. Immigrants enter this country legally and intend to stay here. And we allow them to stay because they meet the standards. People who slide into our country and dump their identification on the Rio Grande and slip into the country or get on a flight and come here illegally and attempt to circumvent the immigration system by falsely claiming asylum are not immigrants. They're criminal alien invaders. Stop lying with your propaganda, New York Times. Exactly, Philip. That's why I'm saying he intended to defraud the country. And so are all the people involved in this story. He is now, with mostly Spanish speakers, like them, he wears a blue uniform of non-criminal detainees, sleeps on a metal bunk, and earns $2 a day for cleaning duty. But unlike many of them who travel to the United States from poverty-stricken villages in Latin America, who cares? We have poverty-stricken villages in Appalachia. Keep your poverty-stricken people in Latin America. They have no right to be here. He traded a comparatively comfortable life for confinement. And unlike nearly all the people he's now locked up with, Mr. Schoenwinkel is white, a fact that has led to some bewilderment among his fellow detainees. They all ask me, what are you doing here? See, this is the problem with bigots and racists. People assume the reason they're in prison in Georgia is because they're brown, because they speak Spanish. No, it's because you're criminals. You broke our sovereignty, which we earned. We defeated the British twice to get our sovereignty. So piss off. Footsec. My fuck Marlies. Seriously, you're a criminal. Who cares whether you're brown or blue or purple or green or black or have a large appendage or a tiny appendage or what your sexual orientation is? You are criminals. You are not welcome here. We do not welcome criminals who intend to violate our sovereignty. Piss off. Oh, it's because I'm Mexican. No, it's not because you're Mexican. Tons of Mexicans live in this country perfectly well and legally. My goodness. These slimy people. Oh, they're amazed. What are you doing here? They all ask me, what are you doing here? Well, I'm a criminal just like you. I broke immigration law, and this is where I wound up. The first 59 Afrikaner refugees arrived in the United States in late May. It wasn't 59 Afrikaners. It was 59 South Africans, which included colored family. First correction. They arrived in mid-May. The 12th of May would be mid-May, not late May. Yeah. Anyway, so when I saw President Trump brought some Afrikaners to the U.S., I contacted Ben. This is Rick Taylor, his dumb American friend. A friend of Mr. Schoonwinkel's who had planned to receive him in Arkansas. The two men had worked together for a large U.S. military contractor in Afghanistan. I said, I think this is a good time for you to come here. Ben had the money and means to get a good start and make it here. Oh, so you can just come over. Well, I have the money and means to make it in South. Does that mean I can just live in South Africa? Okay, here I come, Gordon's Bay. I'll be there tomorrow. Hang on. Let me just book a call right now. Okay, yeah. Expedia? Yeah. Could you get me on a flight from Harrisburg to Cape Town I'm going to leave on Sunday, the 28th. Yeah. Can you get me economy? Yeah. Economy plus. Okay, that sounds great. An aisle seat? That's fantastic. Can you give me exit row? $300 more. You know what? I'm just moving to South Africa. I'll pay the $300 more. Okay. Yeah. No, I can just pick up and go wherever I want. I have the means. I have the ability to do it. So I just go where I want. I mean, that's forget the law. Frick the law. The law doesn't matter. I just do what the hell I want. I'll just move to South Africa because it's such a cool place. I'll be there tomorrow, man. I'll buy myself a mansion down there in Gordon's Bay or Somerset West, and I'll look at the mountains, and I'll hire a garden boy. I hear Beckett Chili's available to be a garden boy. I'm not the garden boy. Well, dude, you're not employed. You want a job or not? You want a job? Sorry, that was Beckett Chili. I was just, I'm hiring a garden boy for my place in Somerset West. Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. That sounds great, man. Yep. All right, cool beans. Yeah, I'll buy myself a brand new Land Cruiser on Monday. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I'll have a braai on Tuesday. I'll invite all my friends over. I can't. They all left for America. Shoot. Yeah, all the South Africans went to America. I'm screwed. Who am I going to talk to when I get to South Africa? Well, it's not your problem, Expedia. Just get me the plane ticket. All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Bye. Oh, yeah, let's just go to South Africa. Well, I'm going to move to Myanmar tomorrow because I can't. I have the means. Let's just go. Woo. Let's do it. Who the hell is this guy I think he is? Mr. Schoonwinkel, who is single, gee, I wonder why, decided to come on his own rather than through the refugee program, which he said he did not understand to be a requirement. Excuse me. So you just heard Trump said, Afrikaners, I'm opening a refugee program. But you didn't understand that the refugee program was a requirement. Please. How stupid do you think people are, man? He had gotten advice suggesting that an asylum claim would work in the same way that refugee claim. Who are you listening to? I know who you were listening to. And as I warned, listening to that person was a bad idea. So I know who you listened to. We all know who he listened to. We know who he listened to. Oh, come on to the coast for Christmas. Hang out, become an asylum seeker. Come on over to Arkansas. It's okay. We'll find you a job, send you up to South Dakota. It's going to be fantastic. Yes, but when he told officers at the airport he was seeking asylum, they detained him, apparently following a new federal protocol. No, following the law, which we've ignored for 30 years. Yep. No, he didn't get advice from CNN News 24, Ian. No. He got advice from somebody here in America. He got advice from someone here in America. Way immense. Yeah, okay. Mr. Taylor, his friend, 63, said he was stunned by his friend's detention. We thought he was doing it the right way. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You're not that stupid. He found an immigration lawyer to assist Mr. Schoonwinkel. The lawyer, Marty Rosenbluth, a former anti-apartheid and human rights activist, was reviewing intake files at his office when he learned of his new client from South Africa. Well, I assumed he was black. Why else would he be in ICE custody? Wow, Mr. Rosenbluth, bit of a bigot there, are you? Bit of a bigot? Maybe a racist there, Mr. Rosenbluth? Wow. So I assumed he was black because he was in prison. Wow. Never crossed my mind that he could be an Afrikaner, Mr. Rosenbluth recalled. I thought, how could this be happening? Because he broke the law, you dingbat. You're a lawyer. And you encourage people to break the law? Mr. Rosenbluth contends that Schoonwinkel's due process rights have been violated. Wrong. The Constitution applies to American citizens and permanent green card holders. Nobody else. You're not subject to the laws of this country. You're an alien. You do not get the protections of the Constitution. We need to stop giving those protections to people who do not earn them. They are for Americans and permanent residents. That's who get those protections. He had the right to make his case without being thrown into a hellhole, says Mr. Rosenbluth. Really? Mr. Rosenbluth, have you been to the detention center in Lumpkin, Georgia? I know John Asmuth, the leftist hate-wanking senator from Georgia who won questionable election results, he's been complaining about it. But when Asmuth complains about something, it usually just gets my attention that he's lying. Yes, it is a bad place, but have you been there? He fired off emails to ICE asking why his client had been detained, because he broke the law, and citing the president's executive order. Executive order has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with Mr. Kornbluth, Mr. Blumen, what's his name? Rosenbluth, excuse me. Schoonwinkel's immigration case is played out haphazardly in a court system straining under tens of thousands of new proceedings. Well, no, stop. See, that's a lie, New York Times. We have millions of asylum cases because Joe Biden allowed people to enter the country illegally as asylum seekers. We have over 10 million or 3 million, whatever the total case sitting in front of courts. These aren't new cases. No. We have a backlog of cases because you let criminals in this country without just verification. That's the problem. Not because of Trump, but because of Biden. They're trying to pretend there's more cases. He'll stay in jail until he's deported, Coco. In his asylum application, which was reviewed by the New York Times, Mr. Schoonwinkel said he'd been persecuted based on his race, his political opinion, and his membership in a particular social group. What social group is that? Dumb people? He said he'd been attacked in December 2014 on his farm by 2 black men, claiming they beat him, tied him up, and held him at knife point. I lost all hope of walking out alive. I still have deep emotional scars. So basically, you're a South African. What part of that's tied to race? Did I miss something here? Is there something specifically about race there? Did you guys hear something about race? He was tied up by black men. Oh my goodness. I mean, not to use stereotypes, but given the percentages of the population, the majority of people who are victims of crime tend to be victims of crime from black men because they're the ones that commit the most crime, most frequently, most often. Same in America. Same in America. I mean, black men commit crimes far in excess of their percentage population, which is only 6.5%, not even, 5.5% of the population is black men. But they commit 40% of the violent crimes in this country. So I don't understand what his case was. He has no asylum case. That's not a case for asylum. That's not oppression. That's a victim of crime. Crime is not an excuse for asylum or refugee. I've told you guys that from the beginning. This is the most winnable case I've ever had, says Mr. Rosenblum. No, it's not, buddy. No, it's not. No, it's not. Despite the language barriers, apparently he's been there for 3 months, hasn't learned Spanish. Guys, I was in Germany for 2 months. I spoke German. You know why? He's trying to hook up with the mädels. I guess he's not trying to hook up with the baños. 3 months in prison, you can't speak Spanish yet? Something fishy there, my friend. Something fishy. You ought to be able to speak Spanish by now. What else are you doing all day? He says, recently he cooked spaghetti for detainees from Colombia and Mexico. Woohoo! He calls his friend in Arkansas almost daily, and Mr. Taylor deposits money to his commissary account for phone credits and items like toothpaste. I'm worried about Ben. I believe President Trump would release him if he knew about this. No, I don't think he will. Why, does he get special treatment because he's white? Do we make special cases for him because he's white? This is exactly the case that proves that this has nothing to do with race. Exactly. Thank you, Mr. Schoonvinkel, for proving that the refugee program in South Africa is not based on race. It's not. It's not. It's based on the rule of law. It's based on circumstances. And Mr. Schoonvinkel has done everyone here a big favor by proving that this program is not based on race. For the idiots that can't read the embassy website, they can't pay attention to the colored family in California, the Indian family in Virginia, the colored family in Wisconsin, and yada, yada, yada. The list goes on and on and on. Yep, Eric, you're correct. He will go back to South Africa, won't be able to go back to USA because he's now a criminal record. How stupid, yep. This asylum guy didn't want to go through the scrutiny that the refugees are required to do and tried to circumvent our law. Sucks for him. He was 9 months too late to take advantage of us. Yep. If he tried this in January 10th, he would have got in the country because the criminal regime of Biden would have let him do it. Didn't he have internet? No, no, he's trying to break the rules. It's as simple as that. Why would he bypass this when Trump already put a legal, easy process for it to go through? Exactly. Either he's the dumbest person since Cyril Ramaphosa or Ronald Lamola, or he intentionally tried to circumvent the system. Ruan said, heard something about race. Your question was direct. He said black men. Yes, he did. He said he assumed black men. Yep. Now he's blacklisted. Yep. So if he returns to South Africa, oh no, he can't come back to the program. No, he'll have a criminal record. I mean, if you overstay your visa, you're not coming to America. This is a major stumbling block. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. I didn't see New York as a new fire chief. Should have just applied for asylum when he was at his friend's home. Then he would have been well, they might have come and looked for him. Well, blacklisted? Yeah, he will be blacklisted when it's all over, unless he gets empathy and gets him approved. Immigration lawyers should know that any person who applies for asylum at the border is taken into custody. Exactly. That's how the law is. You're supposed to be taken into custody. But the problem is the Obama or the Biden regime. Thank you, work people. The Biden regime arrested those people, detained them, and then released them into society. Just told them to come for a court date, which never happened. That's how we have millions of asylum cases. Please don't judge all of us by this, who thought he could not. Why would I judge anybody by that guy, Chris? That's one individual. I would not judge anybody by that guy. I'm looking younger, says Villy. Oh, it's the haircut. All right, so there you go. So if there was English original 59, they label them as Afrikaners, that makes mainstream media guilty of cultural appropriation. You're right. That's the other point. I keep forgetting to mention that half of them weren't even Afrikaners. They were English speaking. Yep. Cooked his own goose. No, asylum is not paused in the United States. That's not correct, Buttery Gold. The asylum cases that are here have been paused. It's a little confusing. They still have some asylum, but they're not allowing people to pull the stunts they've done. Trump has made an announcement about it. So, but this guy came in September, so that wouldn't have applied. Doesn't matter if his life is in danger. We don't want pedos. We don't want rapists. We don't want murderers. If you're a murderer, if you're a pedo, when you get a background check, you're not coming here it's too bad. You shouldn't have committed those heinous crimes. We don't need those people in our country. We are generous, but we shouldn't be generous to take violent criminals. His LinkedIn shows he worked for 17 years in Afghanistan for a U.S. company with the U.S. State Department contract. MBA from should be able to better research. No, the guy's just trying to defraud. He's just trying to defraud us all, folks. He's just trying to defraud us. So the EFF is angry that Donald Trump struck Nigeria. Let me check on the game real quick since we've been chatting for a while. It's still 7-3 with just 10 minutes left in the game. Glasgow has the ball. Yeah, it's not looking good here for Edinburgh, but maybe. I mean, it's just take a trial, change it.
Part B.
Call to use it from Holly Davidson. Glasgow from their own 22.
The right-hand side for Lancaster. There's Tui Pelotu running straight at Lang. Out the back was on as well. Did all the...
Yeah, so Glasgow needs to hold on there to help my Super Brew. So much drama over nothing. Do you want the experts of South Africa or not? America always turning things into drama. Huh? Do you want the experts of South Africa or not? America always turning things into drama. What drama are you talking about, that Creole Pelican? What drama? What drama? Someone who broke our law? So the 7 million illegals in South Africa should stay there too? Interesting. Interesting. I'm not really sure what you're getting on it. So the EFF talk about, drama. Here's drama here. This is just silly drama. EFF condemns U.S. airstrikes in Nigeria as reckless imperialism. President Trump claimed a Christmas Day airstrike targeting ISIS jihadists who were killing primarily innocent Christians. The EFF rejected attempts to frame the violence in the region as religious persecution of Christians by Muslims. The party said Trump administration was disguising imperialism as a campaign to combat terrorism. Thank you, Ivan, for your subscription. No, the asylum case that was approved just happened last month. This guy came in September. Oh, Matthew Dixon, you're going to get in trouble for that, man. you're going to get in trouble for that. Matthew Dixon's trolling in the wrong direction there. You're swimming upstream, man. There's a lot of ladies in the chat. You're going to get excoriated for that comment. Why does the U.S. not recolonize South Africa? Colonize? We've never colonized South Africa. Why would we recolonize? We never colonized anywhere, including Liberia. We didn't colonize that place. Former Americans did that. Anyway, so the EFF takes exception to the United States, but I take exception to the EFF because here's the problem with that. Let me explain something to the EFF, okay? Imperialism is the power or practice of a nation extending its power and dominion over foreign lands, either through direct territorial conquest, like colonialism, or indirect economic and political control, driven by motives like wealth, resources, or perceived cultural superiority, creating hierarchical relationships where a core power dominates peripheral regions. And in the case of political or military, using force or diplomacy to exert control. What control is the United States exerting over Nigeria? None. What territory are they trying to gain? None. What wealth are they trying to gain? Resources or cultural superiority? None. We're killing terrorists who are murdering people. And oh, by the way, the Nigerian government is on board with it. They requested the attacks. So the EFF can shove it. A bunch of retards. And check this out. Looking for relevancy, the Patriotic Alliance praises Donald Trump. Patriotic Alliance salutes President Trump over U.S. airstrikes in Nigeria. But the two guys on his left and right don't seem convinced. I don't know when that picture was from, Gabe McKenzie. Patriotic Alliance has praised President Trump for authorizing military action in Nigeria, saying the bombardment sent a strong message against what it described as the ongoing killing of Christians. In a statement issued today, the party led by Minister of Sports, Arts, and Culture, Gabe McKenzie, said Trump had shown courage and decisive leadership at a time when many global leaders had remained silent, including South Africa. Every human life matters. The right to worship freely without fear of violence or death is fundamental, non-negotiable. Defending Christians against organized violent persecution is not extremism. It's a defense of basic human dignity. Leadership requires difficult decisions and courage requires action, said the statement. There you go. Look at that. So the Patriotic Alliance supports Trump and the EFF attacks Trump. U.S. immigration is very strict. Even going in with visitor's visa, you have to prove a combination return ticket. President mentioned multiple times, not apply for asylum. Yep. Yep. Not a criminal, just a reckless for sin. No, Dini is a criminal. Is a criminal. He broke the law. He made himself a criminal. He may be stupid, but he made himself a criminal by breaking the law. KwaZulu-Natal disaster team is on the scene, deployed after severe thunderstorms hit Amajuba and Umzindati districts. That doesn't look good. KZN's MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs has dispatched rapid response disaster management teams to the Amajuba and Umzindati districts following severe thunderstorms left a trail of destruction across the province on Thursday. Violent weather marked by heavy rainfall, large hail, and gale force winds swept through the region at 4 p.m. The gentleman chose not to comment again. Or did he? Let me go back and see. No, I don't see a follow-up comment from the gentleman about drama. Did you think I missed that comment? I caught that comment. Smee again is here again. Good to see you again. All right. A viral video of a scumbag throwing his trash out of his car got caught and then got hunted down. Okay, what's going on here, Virtual Western Cape? What are you going on about? His asylum case is still being processed? Yeah, and his deportation will be processed too. And anybody that proves his asylum case is fraudulent because the guy committed fraud. No, you can't apply for refugee status after crossing the border. No, you cannot. You cannot. It's not part of the law. Read the Immigration Nationality Act of 1980. That is not what the law says. That is not what the law says. That is not what the law says. You cannot apply for refugee status from inside the country. That is fraudulent. That's untrue, Virtual Western Cape. Untrue. I don't know where you're making that stuff up. That's not what the law says. That's why we have an asylum process. The asylum is for people who are here legally and then apply for asylum. Anyway, you can believe what you want, but that's not the law. He made an extremely stupid mistake, but who are we to judge? He has to live with it forever. Let us not kick an injured person. Well, the problem, Bonnie, is that actually, like I said, he's actually done everybody a favor. He's proven that this program is not based on race. If it was based on race, as a white guy, he would be let in, right? Just let him in. But we can't do that because then the planes will be full of people coming over here pulling the same stunt. Who's deleting Matthew's comments? No one's deleting. Hey, Ronaldo, what's going on, man? What are you up to? Merry Christmas to you again. Have all the Somalis apply for asylum legally? No, none of them can apply for asylum legally. They're not here as asylum seekers. They're here as refugees. We brought them here. We brought the Somalis here. They didn't apply for asylum. Guys, see, that's the problem. You're mixing different status. Asylum and refugee are not the same thing. Barbarian King says he's a fraudster, no sympathy for him. Exactly. No sympathy for him whatsoever. So this guy here, no sympathy for this guy either. Viral video of Cape Town litter bug ends with a 500 Rand fine. That's all. A viral video showing Cape Town motorist tossing litter out of his car ended with a 500 Rand fine after a dramatic confrontation that had social media buzzing. A tour guide traveling behind the tour bus didn't stay silent. He picked up the litter and hurled it back of the car, making it clear that bad behavior would not go unnoticed. Yeah, I love it. There he is. There he is. See, showing that assholes can be brown, white, or black. Doesn't matter. Race isn't an issue for being a boorish person. He took his trash and left it on the street because he's a pig. Presented himself to law enforcement and paid the 500 Rand admission of guilt. City of Cape Town warned that littering is offense and the vehicles may be impounded. Motorist who was caught on video was traced within hours of footage going viral. Search was launched by MMC for Safety J.P. Smith. Wow, we got people murdering people in Cape Flats, but we can hunt down litter bugs. But let's go ahead and watch this.
آشغال انداخت بیرون داره میندازه بازم رفت بهش گفت میگه ننداز بیرون.
Gives him his trash back.
باریکالله لیدر محلی نه باز انداخت
Oh, a little smart ass.
خیلی آدم بی‌نزاکتی هست.
And the color guy went out there and straightened him out. Way to go, man. The color guy straightened him out. The offender was identified. He then called in last night to make arrangements, and this morning he presented himself and paid his admission of guilt for littering. The incident occurred at intersection Cape Town Central Business District. According to JP Smith, the driver threw litter out of the vehicle. We saw that, prompting a bus tour guide to approach the car, pick up the rubbish, and return it to him. He then threw it again, made obscene gestures towards the occupants of the tour bus. Yeah, well, that's what you get. Let's make him famous for being a pig. It says the Central Business District, doesn't say where. That's a big area. Yep, and I can't tell from the video where exactly. It could be a whole bunch of different spots. Yeah, let's make the guy famous for being a jerk. White people can be as big a jerks as black people and brown people. Hey, all right, so these families deserve justice. Justice for the mercenaries. What? Justice for mercenaries? I'm confused. Why should mercenaries get justice? Fikeni Mabalula, striving for relevance, looking for attention. The African National Congress Secretary General Fikeli Mabalula has condemned the alleged recruitment of South Africans to fight for Russia and Ukraine, calling it a selling of innocent citizens. The only reason he has complained about it is because it wasn't his idea. The ANC didn't come up with the idea. The MK party did. Shut up, Fikeli. Tariffs, turmoil, and tenacity. Ooh. News 24 carries the water for Cyril Ramaphosa. Such a brave man. Does that look like Herrengracht Avenue? Could be. Crypto Noob. I'm not sure. How Ramaphosa navigated unprecedented pressure at home and abroad. Ooh, what an amazing year for the hippo. President Cyril Ramaphosa navigated domestic crises, including protest, coalition instability, economic recovery, while managing worsening U.S.-South Africa relations under Trump's administration. No, while pissing down the drain relations with the Trump administration. U.S. tariffs and Afrikaner refugee claims strain relations. No, while Ramaphosa strengthened ties with China, India, and G20. No, with China, India, yes. In Iran, domestically tensions included delayed budgets, coalition cracks, devastating military losses, allegations of political corruption, and the security sector. Yes. An army defeated by a ragtag band of teenage rebels in the Congo. Yes, they ran away to Rwanda. We can't forget that as well. An Air Force that couldn't get its planes in the air. We can remember that. 8.5 million people with HIV. 650,000 people with tuberculosis, giardia, dysentery. Yeah, we remember all that. Hey, Ben. It's been a while, man. How you doing? 35 Rand Super Chat. Clouds are gathering. The numbers were simply overwhelming, folks. 30,000 travelers crossed into Mozambique within 24 hours. That must have been a nightmare. The Border Management Authority has processed more than 30,000 people traveling to neighboring Mozambique in the past 24 hours, underscoring peak festive season travel during Christmas and New Year's. And the good news is that they were able to manage the border crossing with Mozambique because the 100-plus agents who hunted down 7 Kenyans who were in the country legally but working illegally on Dag, those 100 agents were free to go to the border of Mozambique to help people get across the border. Thank goodness for that. Thank goodness for that. Oh, my goodness. We're here for the Kenyans, man. Hakuna Matata. We just want the Kenyans. We just want the Kenyans. 1,688 babies born on Christmas Day, sharing my birth date, including 113 to teenage mothers. What the hell is wrong with the people of South Africa? 308 more babies were born in 2025 compared to the year before, while the number of teenagers who gave birth increased from 90 to over 130. 130 teenagers gave birth. Now, to be fair, that could be an 18 or 19-year-old as well. But these mothers aged between 15 and 19. Wow. That's insane. And here's the highest number of births were in Gauteng, followed by KZN, followed by the Eastern Cape, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, Western Cape, Northwest, Free State, and Northern Cape. Too many babies. Too many babies. Well, a family waits for justice, something that doesn't exist in South Africa, 3 years after their father was murdered in a road rage shooting. Dean Charnley died after motorists shot him in a 2022 road rage confrontation on the M13 while test driving his 18-year-old son Seth's service Nissan. Following the motorist's conviction in March of this year, his sentencing has been repeatedly postponed due to medical crisis and psychiatric treatment. Proceedings now scheduled for 2026. Routine test drive of Seth Charnley's Nissan in 2022 descended into deadly violence when an elderly motorist, Anthony Ball, persistently obstructed their path on the M13 in Durban. After Dean eventually managed to overtake the Subaru and came to a halt, he angrily confronted Ball. Ball's response was to fire twice at Dean, who managed just 4 stumbling steps towards his horrified son, who was 18, before falling dead. Described how his father's killer drove away with a blank expression on his face. A haunting memory continues to torment the family. yet the man still isn't paying the price. He got 4,000 bail. He got a 4,000 rand bail for murdering a man in broad daylight on a highway, shooting him dead. What the hell is that? Thank you, Aurora, for the birthday greeting. What the hell is that? He got a 4,000 rand bail for murdering somebody. That's insane. 2 Sandef soldiers swept away after foolishly driving their vehicle into a swollen river. 2 South African National Defense Force soldiers were swept away by a strong river current on Christmas Day after attempting to cross a flooded bridge while doing border patrols in Mpumalanga. According to Sandef, the soldiers were patrolling near the military base in Kumadi Port as part of Operation Corona. While conducting routine patrols, the military vehicle carrying members of Sandef attempted to cross the river. They've been heavily flooded due to recent weather conditions. 2 Sandef members were swept away. One of the bodies has been found, the other has not. Not very bright. Unfortunately, that's a Darwin Award. Israel becomes the first country. This isn't true. There are other countries that recognize Somaliland, but they're claiming it's the first country to recognize Somaliland as an independent state. Wow. Israel has become the first country to formally recognize self-declared Republic of Somaliland 30 years later as an independent sovereign state yesterday. A decision that could reshape regional dynamics and test Somalia's long-standing opposition to secession. Wow. So, what's the final score? The game is over now. Did Glasgow win it? Oh, yeah, Glasgow 21-3. Yep, they must have scored a couple late tries there. Yep, 21-3. Yep, they won the game. So I'll get my points there. Israel recognized Somaliland, and immediately Somalia has objections. Somalia demands Israel withdraw Somaliland recognition. Somalia's State Minister for Foreign Affairs tells Al Jazeera that Israel's move aims to forcibly displace Palestinians from Gaza. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Condemning the move is an aggression that will never be tolerated. An aggression by recognizing a state? Ali Omar, the State Minister for Foreign Affairs, told Al Jazeera that it was state aggression on the part of Israel. Somaliland, of course, broke away from Somalia back in 1991 following a brutal civil war, but has never secured recognition from any UN member state. Self-declared republic has established its own currency, flag, and parliament. Omar accused Israel of pursuing Somaliland's recognition in order to further displace Palestinians. One of the motivating factors of displacement is displacement of Palestinians from Gaza. It's been widely known that Israel's goal was on the issue. So Somalia is claiming the Israelis plan to ship Palestinians to Somaliland. Really? I doubt that. Nigerian villagers, shock and awe, rattled by U.S. airstrikes that made their homes shake and the sky glow red. Sanusi Madobo, a 40-year-old farmer in the Nigerian village of Yabo, was preparing for bed on Thursday when he heard a loud noise that sounded like a plane crashing. He rushed outside to see the sky glowing bright red. It was almost like daytime. He didn't learn until later that he'd witnessed a U.S. attack on a militant Islamic State group. Residents of Jobo village in northwestern Nigeria spoke to AAP on Friday about panic confusion among villagers following strikes, which they said hit not far from the outskirts. There were no casualties among the villagers. Well, that's good. The villagers were not the target. The jihadists were. Nigeria has signaled there will be more joint strikes. The U.S. and Nigerian authorities working together to take out more of these murderous thugs in northwestern Nigeria. Abbott accuses the Albanese government of weakness after the Bondi attack. It's telling that the worst atrocity against Jewish people since October 7th happened here in Australia, the former Prime Minister said. Former Prime Minister Tony Abbott has laid the blame for the Bondi Beach shooting massacre firmly at the feet of the Albanese government, claiming it had effectively turned a blind eye to a whole series of anti-Jewish, Jew-hating events and created a situation where the terrorist attack aimed at Jews was licensed by weakness. Wow. He said the Albanese government ignored a series of events which characterized as part of an escalating pattern, including the initial elation of Islamic preachers in response to October 7th outside the Opera House on October 9th, where hateful chants against Jews were heard, in the march across Sydney Harbour Bridge, where terrorist flags were displayed and talks of the globalized intifada and chants of death of the Israeli Defense Force were echoed. Yep. And he is right. Tony Abbott is 100% correct. The Albanese government is responsible for this attack and their tolerance. And quite frankly, they ought to be held to account. Yep. They ought to be held to account. I mean, that's the bottom line here, folks. That is the bottom line. They ought to be held to account. A Palestinian man has killed 2 in a car ramming. Oh, take away their guns. Yeah, we'll just use cars. And a stabbing attack in northern Israel. Palestinian attacker rammed his car into a man, then stabbed a young woman in northern Israel Friday, killing both, as Israeli defense minister quickly ordered military retaliation on what he said was his assailant's West Bank hometown. Attack began Friday afternoon in the northern city of Beit Shean, where the Palestinian man crashed his vehicle into people, killing one man and injuring a teenage boy. He then sped onto a highway where he fatally stabbed the woman and injured another person near the entrance to the city of Afula. That's where he was shot. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu identified victims as Aviv Mayor, a teenager, and Shimshon Mordecai, 68. Paramedics pronounced both dead at the scene. Jeez. Iran seized an oil tanker in the Strait of Hormuz. For smuggling. Iran said yesterday it seized a foreign-owned oil tanker traveling through the Strait of Hormuz. State-affiliated media reported Friday that Revolutionary Guard naval forces captured the vessel after determining it was illegally transporting the 25,000 barrels of oil through the strait. Really? Iran arresting people for smuggling oil. The biggest culprit in smuggling oil in the world is arresting people for smuggling oil. Beijing's falsified economic data cripple its ability to compete with the U.S. China's real economic output in 2025 was likely expanded by less than half what the regime claimed, according to a report from the Rhodium Group. A new analysis estimating China's real expansion at merely half the claimed rate exposed a statistical void that has blinded its leadership to its fragility. China's real economic output in 2025 expanded by just 2.5% to 3%, according to a new report from global consultancy firm Rhodium. The estimate is approximately half of what they claimed. Yeah, well, I told you China's economy is in trouble, folks. People don't want to believe it, but it's true. It is true. Thailand and Cambodia have signed a ceasefire. That was the peace agreement Trump worked, and then they started attacking each other. Now they signed a ceasefire to stop the fighting. It took effect at 5 o'clock in the morning Greenwich Mean Time. It calls for halt to military movements and airspace violation for military purposes. Only Thailand has carried out strikes hitting sites in Cambodia as recently as Saturday morning, according to Cambodian Defense Ministry. The deal also calls for Thailand, after the ceasefire is held for 72 hours, to repatriate 18 Cambodian soldiers it's held as prisoners since fighting in July. South Korea's prosecutor seeks a 10-year jail sentence for former President Yoon, who followed the law and suspended Parliament. Then when the parliamentarians got together and voted it down, he allowed Parliament to reopen. Yet he's being tried for insurrection. South Korea's prosecutor requests a 10-year prison sentence for former President Yoon Suk-yeol on charge including attempted obstruction of his arrest following his failed bid to impose martial law, which he did legally. The defendant, who was supposed to safeguard the Constitution and uphold the rule of law, abused his power and hurt the public. He has not apologized or shown remorse to the public, but instead tried to shift blame to his aides. Well, he followed the rule of law, and you were the ones who arrested him illegally. The unexpected boon for who? Well, who's getting a big break on these tariffs? Mexico. Shockingly, the country's exports to the U.S. have surged since Trump imposed new duties. Isn't that interesting? When President Trump began raising tariffs earlier this year, government officials and economists feared Mexico's export-led economy would get a devastating blow. Instead, exports have grown. Because Mexico's ultimate tariff rate ended up lower than for most other countries, the disparities helped Mexican exports fill the gap left by Chinese products subject to higher levies. Even with steep tariffs on autos, steel, and aluminum bound for America, Mexican manufacturing exports to the U.S. rose 9% from January to November compared to 2024. Trading goods between U.S. and Mexico is on track to reach a record of nearly $900 billion this year. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Mexico's doing well. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police arrested 19 asylum seekers in Quebec for illegal border crossing. Yeah. Mounties said the arrests were made after a report by the United States Border Patrol at 6 p.m. on December 25th. The group of individuals ranging in age from 1 to 60 years old were arrested. They discovered a group of 15 people hiding in the woods in the Havelock area. The search continued until 10:30. Officers from the Champlain Integrated Border Enforcement Team were assisted in the search by the Valleyfield Integrated Border Crossing. One man was arrested under Section 117 of the Customs Act. There you go. Illegal asylum seekers trying to slip into America, and the Canadians working with us. Well, Canadians are up in arms about the misspelling of our language, the corruption, the Anglicization of our English language by a former British official who's actually Canadian. Yeah, that's right. They're trying to obliterate the correct spelling of our words. Canadian linguists rise up against the letter S. Some words spelled the British way are emerging Canadian government documents. A group of language experts say the change undermined Canada's identity. Well, it's our identity. Canadian linguists and editors are not pleased. Words using British spellings have suddenly appeared in documents published by the Canadian government. Gone was the IZE construction standard in Canadian English in favor of the ISE used in British English. So empathize became emphasize, and trade liberalization became trade liberalization. At first, we thought it was an aberration. But they continue to pile up in recent news release and the federal budget. Hundreds of words were spelled the British way: deindustrialization, amortization, catalyze, digitalization, and so on. The choice undermines Canadian English, a group of linguists and editors said in an open letter to Prime Minister Mark Carney. Carney was the governor of the Bank of England from 2013 to 2020. Aha! A Ferreira in the midst, Mark Carney, former governor of the Bank of England. Aha! The only foreigner ever to hold that position. Trying to destroy the English language. Well, stalled spending bills in Congress. It's catch-up time when they return in January. Congress has not passed any spending bills since the 43-day government shutdown. What did I tell you, folks? The shutdown deal included full-year funding for 3 of the 12 spending bills, but the remaining 9 are running on stopgap funding that expires on January 30th. Chris Coons, Delaware Democrat, predicted it's going to take every minute until the deadline to pass the remaining 9 bills. But we have to. Well, you shouldn't have gone to Christmas holiday, you lazy bastards. Lazy bastards shouldn't be on holiday. They should be working. California ended its ridiculous lawsuit against the federal government for pulling funding for its train rail to nowhere. The Trump administration canceled $4 billion of funding for the project back in July. California dropped its lawsuit this week against the Trump administration over the $4 billion in funding for the state's long-delayed high-speed rail project, which already cost the state over $13 billion. Said the authority had no viable plan to finish the work in a large segment of the project in the state's Central Valley. Correct. California voters approved the project's initial $10 billion bond in 2008. The project's price tag was originally expected to be $33 billion, with a completion date of 2020. Costs have ballooned to between $89 and $128 billion, with completion projected by 2033. 2033. A train system that will never be delivered. More scam artist, California. New York received its heaviest snowfall in 4 years overnight. Central Park saw more than 4 inches of snow for the first time since January 2022, with higher totals outside New York City. There you go. There you can see where the heavy snowfall was, mostly in Connecticut and up in the Hudson Valley and further points, the darker colors. 12 inches. That's a lot of snow. Storm arriving so soon after Christmas forced cancellation of hundreds of flights to the region's 3 airports, including many travelers being stranded. Darius Johnson had planned to return home to Grandview, Texas on Friday after spending 4 days celebrating Christmas with friends in New York, but by Friday evening there was no snow on the ground, but Frontier had canceled his flight anyway. The airline's best offer was a flight 3 days later to Cleveland with a connection to Dallas. Frontier had offered a $20 meal ticket, he said, but no hotel stay and no refund. There were no rental cars left the airport. What am I supposed to do for 3 days? Well, that sucks, man. I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Over 1,500 flights canceled as Winter Storm Devon hits U.S. holiday travel. More than 40 million Americans under winter storm warnings or weather advisories as heavy snow was expected. Thousands of flights canceled in the late United States due to Winter Storm Devon. New York City, the largest U.S. city, was bracing for up to 250 millimeters or 10 inches of snow overnight on Friday, and we saw they got it. JetBlue Airways canceled 225 flights on Friday, the most among U.S. carriers, followed by Delta, which canceled 212. Republic canceled 157, 146 canceled by American, and 97 by United. That's not good, folks. Carolyn Levitt is knocked up. She is carrying a child. I already have a 1-year-old son, and she's pregnant again. She announced on Instagram with a daughter. Carolyn Levitt, the White House press secretary, announced Friday she was expecting a baby girl in May. My husband and I are thrilled to grow our family and can't wait to watch our son become a big brother, said the 28-year-old. She's the youngest person to ever serve as press secretary, as the mother of a 1-year-old boy with her husband, Nicholas Riccio. The son is also named Nicholas, was born in July 2024. White House said Ms. Levitt would remain in her role as press secretary after the birth of her second child. There you go. Junk food banned for food stamp. Well, why not? We couldn't buy junk food when I was a kid on food stamps. You're not supposed to be able to buy soft drinks and candy. More than a third of states will prohibit the purchase of some foods, and states will shoulder more of the program's administrative cost. Centerville, Virginia, full of Asians. When did that happen? When did Virginia become a home for Asians? Americans using food stamp benefits purchase groceries made to adjust their shopping habits, as junk food will be excluded. 18 states will restrict the purchase of certain foods lacking nutritional value. Those states include Indiana, Iowa, Nebraska, Utah, West Virginia, Idaho, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Colorado, Texas, Virginia, and Florida, starting dates in April, and in Arkansas, Tennessee, Hawaii, South Carolina, North Dakota, Missouri in July and October. Tennessee and Iowa, they can't use the foods purchased processed foods. There you go. Can't use food stamps. So here's where restrictions will take place. Candy, beverages, candy, processed food will be 4 different states. Beverages and candy, the other states in pink, and beverages only in those states. Remembering those who died this year, folks. A lot of famous people passed away this year, as is the norm, including David Lynch and Jane Goodall. There's David Lynch on the left-hand side there. Jane Goodall to his right, to his left, to our right. Ivan Barnard, thank you for the 70 Rand super chat. Clouds are gathering. Jane Goodall, born 1934, passed away this year. David Lynch, born 1946, passed away this year. Diane Keaton, born 1946, passed away this year. Jimmy Kimmel tells UK viewers that tyranny is booming in America. No, stupidity is booming in Jimmy Kimmel's mind. This moron, who was never entertaining, who became famous for The Man Show, which was a misogynistic program that made fun of women. That's how he became famous. Now he's just a moron of the highest order. Chosen by a British TV station to give an alternative for King's speech, Jimmy Kimmel said it had been a great year for the U.S. from a fascism perspective. And this moron should not be listened to. He appeared on British television screens Christmas Day, delivered a so-called alternative Christmas message. Thanking the people who joined protests and posted online to support him, he said, "We won, the president lost, now I'm back on the air every night." Yeah, nobody's watching you. Nobody's watching you. Nobody cares about a moron like you, Jimmy Kimmel. So what is remigration? Well, that's for people to go home. The far-right fringe idea going mainstream from U.S. to Europe, the idea of forcibly expelling non-white immigrants is gaining steam. Now, see, once again, the racist drivel from Al Jazeera. Non-white? Well, we're looking at expelling the white guy too, and all illegal aliens. The fact that people who are brown decide to break the law more than anyone else doesn't make it racist. It just means that people are brown are the ones breaking the law more than anyone else. From U.S. to Europe, the idea of forcibly expelling non-white immigrants is gaining steam. They're not immigrants, they're criminals. Where does it come from? Oh, look at that. Der Osten Max. Soma Zona Reimmigration. I love that. That's from the AFD. And thank you, Tinky Kieser, for the 70 Rand super chat. Thank you. Clouds are gathering. Last week, Republican Ohio gubernatorial hopeful Vivek Ramaswamy, an Indian, challenged other Republicans over their idea that ancestry heritage is what makes someone truly American. The idea that a heritage American is more American than another American is un-American at its core, he said. He was born Indian immigrant parents. Re-immigration, once a fringe far-right notion. No, it's not. It was a leftist notion. Advocated the deportation of ethnic minorities, is now gaining traction in the United States. No, it's not. That's a lie. This is once again slimy media telling their fairy tales. It's not gaining any traction here. Nobody's calling for that stuff. Okay. Weather Report says it may rain in January. America will delay your flight today. That's not good. All right, that's the news for today, folks. Be sure to hit the like button. If you have not hit the like button yet, hit that like button. I'm glad we did this on a Saturday. Only 515 people here and just 420 likes.
That was easy.
It sounds like you got asthma.
That was easy.
That's better. Sometimes it sounds like he has asthma. Anyway, hit that like button, folks. Make it happen. Make it happen. Anyway, so good audience today on a Saturday. Diane Keaton was a brilliant actress. Yeah, she was all right. She was all right. It's a matter of personal taste. I didn't care for her. Yeah, Arctic American Airlines is horrific. Every time I fly an American, I just cringe. I'm going to get stuck somewhere. They've cost me so much of my life sitting around airports and not getting flights. People who got placed in New York experiencing snow, some maybe first time. Yeah, people getting snow, Ingrid. Yeah, it won't take time to simulate cold weather. Some people will never do it. Oh, I bet Atlanta Hartsfield was a complete mess from all this class. Probably because everybody connects through there. The ANC government deliberately lowered education levels and made it profitable through grants for people to have babies that cannot afford. Look elsewhere in the world with similar outcome. Exactly. It doesn't go well. Telling me that I'm smoking something is funny. Look at the facts. The amount of teen pregnancies has increased. Also, tell me why. What you did. Huh? Oh, expats. Okay. No, the U.S. is not the biggest oil smugglers. Pirates. Nope. That's Iran. British can barely speak English. She says, you need a translator. It's good. 1 440. I like that. If you think you have no part in this, you need to wake up. We all said nothing when progressive sexual content moved to education. Exactly, Aurora. I agree with that. Wonder if the fact that cereal is so buddy-buddy with China is the reason why there's so many Tai Chi and Ching commercials on YouTube. No, that's because YouTube takes anybody. Anybody that wants to pay for ads, they'll do. WhatsApp number is simply your regular mobile number that you register WhatsApp. Yep. Ran out of the rings. What's this? You guys are chatting about something here. Yeah, if you can't afford 6 children, you shouldn't be having them. Agreed. Going to be long queues at SAS for child grants unless the fathers step up. They won't step up. Family friend of ours' daughter got kidnapped conveniently a few weeks later after it happened. The doc disappeared. Yeah, there's no justice, Vimpy. Agreed. Thousands of Nigerian con artists that lures white American women in a relationship to be able to get to pass America. No, there aren't thousands. There are some. There are also plenty of British women lured into the nonsense who go to West Africa. Thank you for the super chat, Ben. Okay. I'm glad that guy who was littering got caught. That was hilarious. The Pope was the store. Never the pilot's fault. It's not the pilot's fault, really. Let's see who's playing right now in Super Bro. Which games are playing now? Let's see how I did in the end. Okay, it came right for me. So Zebra, I had Benetton winning by 7, but they won by 14, so I got 1 point there. I had Glasgow winning by 14. They won by 18, so I get both points there. I have Bristol beating Newcastle. They're now ahead, and I had Saracens winning by 7, and they're up by 9. So it's looking pretty good if those stay the way they're going. Upcoming games, Bath, Ulster's on at 12:30. That's in 15 minutes. Ulster and Connacht. I don't expect Connacht to do anything. Look like they fixed the internet. It does look like they fixed the internet, Stan Forster, but they haven't given me any updates. So they also have someone coming out. So yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath on this, though. But whatever it is, it's something they're doing. It's suddenly I'm getting 40 megabytes all the time, which is what I should be getting. But I'm not getting my full download. But that's all right. I'm not downloading a gigabyte at a time. Your cat is creating a beach for you, and he digs the clean litter like he's trying to reach a child. Yeah, they do that. Some cats are obsessive. They just dig and dig and dig and dig in that litter. Right in Utah, no snow. Oh, sorry to hear that, Jules. Sorry to hear that. Oh, yeah, hockey season starts in October, man. In fact, let's take a look at hockey. We got a couple leagues to look at here. So you got NHL. Okay, and then we'll go ECHL. ECHL. Okay, let's take a look at that. So we'll go to standings. Okay. And we'll go to the AHL. The AHL. Okay, so that's the 3 levels. We'll go from the top, the low level, to work our way up, okay? So where is, okay, so here we go. We'll go with the East Coast Hockey League, which is the lower level, okay? That one we'll start with first, and we're already 27, 28 games into the season. So East Coast Hockey League, Wheeling Nailers from West Virginia. My mother, the only hockey game she ever saw, I took her to a Wheeling Nailers game. They're 20 wins, 6 losses. The Pennsylvania team that I follow is the Reading Royals. They're in 5th place with 15 wins, 11 losses, 2 overtime losses, 32 points on the log. So that's that. Then comes the American Hockey League. Let's look for standings here. League standings. This is where the Hershey Bears play. And Hershey is not looking so good this year. They're 14 wins, 11 losses. They're the 2-time defending champions, and they're in 5th place. So not a good season for them. A lot of teams. That's Atlantic Division, North Division, Central Division, Pacific Division. Look at that. 10, 17, 24, and 30 plus teams. And then the National Hockey League. Let's go to standings here. Okay. National Hockey League. We'll go to division, by division. The Atlantic Division And then you have, they played 38 games, so halfway through the season. The Metropolitan Division, and then the Western Division, which is where most of the teams I follow is in the Western Pacific. So we've got Colorado Avalanche, 27 wins, 2 losses. That's an incredible record. Incredible record. 7 overtime losses, but 2 losses. That's incredible. After such, they're the stars of the league. The Utah Mammoth, a new team, 18 wins, 18 losses. And then my Vegas Golden Knights, which is my team down here, 17 wins, 8 losses. Yep. Yep. Hockey. Hockey's not evil sorcery. It's good stuff. Georgia, we are currently another person. All these refugees that were still watching the show. It's great. Flushing, congratulations, by the way. Yesterday's games were pretty impressive. I was pleased with the performances yesterday, especially from the Dragons. They lost, but they put on a good show. Dragons, but the Osprey upset me. It hurt my feelings because I picked the Scarlets to win that game. But 2 good Welsh derbies yesterday. Well done. Well done to the Wales sides. 1,100 rand to subscribe to the NHL to stream the games. That's not bad. It's cheap. It used to be $100 and some here, and you could watch all the NHL games. Then it was taken over by ESPN. Now it's a disaster. Just getting to games a pain in the ass. Hopefully my new Roku will be able to have the app that works, because the one I have on my old Roku doesn't work, but I'm tired of it. It resets all the time. So I just bought a new one. It's like 10 years old, so at least 10 years old, so it's probably time for a new one. Anyway, summer rain, but it's ridiculous this year in South Africa, and now I'm a cat wrestling referee. The Buccaneers only because that good-looking pirate ship. Yeah, well, I was a Colts fan, but I don't really follow the NFL that much anymore. So, yep. Anyway, guys, so 466 people currently here. How are we doing on the likes? We still haven't got 500. What's up with that? 469 likes. What's going on? 5,000 people tune in. Neff says Americans in New York State are very against South African people. They're very rude. He is on an H-2A visa, working on a farm. I disagree with him. Americans friendly. Well, we're not there, Neff. I mean, New Yorkers in the city can be rude. I've been upstate New York, and I found New Yorkers to be pretty friendly, so I don't know where he's at. If he's on the farm, he's probably somewhere upstate. But that's his experience. He may have had a bad experience with New Yorkers. So, I mean, I'm not far from New York. I'm 3 hours, 4 hours. Either way, I go either north to New York, which is above me, or go east. But I have to go through New Jersey to get there. Still have the Hershey T-shirt. Hershey T-shirt Chris gave me. Reminds me of Chris took his mom to the game. Yep. So, I mean, look, nobody's perfect. There are rude people everywhere. Yeah, hockey, you do have fights in it, yep. You should try getting an interview with Peter Hurneval and ask him. Well, Richard Lemmert, I used to interview Peter Hurneval frequently. Once he became a minister, I couldn't get him anymore. I've asked him several times. I quit asking. I've even asked for Corney Mulder to make it happen. It's just not going to happen. Ministers aren't giving interviews, except to fake stream media. The only minister giving interviews is Johnny Steenhuisen trying to justify his payroll. Yep. Our dear friend Benjamin Schoonwick from January fled to the USA. Welcome, Cape USA. You must have missed the earlier program. There's very little empathy for Mr. Schoonwinkel here. There's very little empathy. I don't know what he was up to, but his pleading ignorance can't possibly fly. There's no way that he knew in September that there was no requirement to go through the refugee program. That's just utter nonsense. I'm sorry that your friend is in prison, but he is where he is because of his actions. He shouldn't have done that. Technically, it's not prison, it's detention. Cape USA. Now, Mr. Schoonwinkel attempted to circumvent our immigration system, and his story isn't even remotely plausible. I reported on that. I did a video on it. So I wasn't very unsympathetic to him in the video that I did, but the chat today, most people are very unsympathetic to Mr. Schoonwinkel. He sought to circumvent the system and jump the queue, and that's not being allowed under this administration. It's been allowed for decades, and now it's being stopped because that's not how the system is supposed to work. You're not supposed to be able to defraud us by pretending to be a tourist just to claim asylum. Asylum is for people who are here legally, legitimately, and it's not safe for them to go back. So, for instance, say you're Jair Bolsonaro, and you came to America for a surgery, and then while you're here, your government's overthrown, it's unsafe for you to go back. You ask for political asylum. That's what asylum is for. If you are a actor from Syria and you came to America for a tour and the government's overthrown and they declare that they will throw homosexuals from the roof, you ask for asylum because it's unsafe for you to return home. If you're Mikhail Baryshnikov and you're dancing at the Bolshoi Ballet on a legitimate tour to the United States in the 1980s during the communist era, and your government has threatened your life and your family back there, you approach authorities after legally entering the country on the tour and you say, I'd like to declare political asylum. That's what asylum is for, not for farmers from South Africa who seek to evade our immigration law when there's a perfectly reliable and available system and a mechanism to them called a refugee program. Mr. Schoonwinkel claiming that he heard Trump had Afrikaners come over. First off, let's be clear. There weren't 59 Afrikaners. There was a color family and half the people were English speakers, not Afrikaners. So if he is as smart as he's portrayed in the media, something doesn't wash. Something doesn't wash. Yeah. So Cape USA, I'm going to do a poll here to see how many people have empathy. Okay. So people are welcome to have empathy for Mr. Schoonwinkel. Okay. Make sure I spell his name correctly. Let me get back to that page. There we go. All right, there's a poll, folks. I meet people every day that does not know about the refugee program. I met an old couple yesterday that had no idea about the program. No, it's not plausible, Napoleon Dynamite. That's not what happened. You must have missed what I said. And let's read what Mr. Schoonwinkel said. You can't tell me he didn't know about the program, okay? I'm going to tell you why. Okay, this is why it's not plausible. This is why the whole story is not plausible. Mr. Schoonwinkel took President Trump at his word. The United States would welcome South Africans like Mr. Schoonwinkel, Wyatt Afrikaner. Okay? In September, he boarded a flight and told people that when he got to the border that he's seeking asylum. So when I saw, these are his words, when I saw President Trump brought some Afrikaners to the U.S., I contacted Ben, says Rick Taylor, his friend. They worked together in Afghanistan. He said, I think this is a good time for you to come. Ben had the money and the means to get a good start and make it here. So Schoonwinkel just got on a plane and came over. Based on his friend, Rick Taylor. Well, maybe Rick Taylor's the one to blame. But Mr. Schoonwinkel is 59 years old. He's an adult. This is ridiculous. No, they tried to circumvent immigration authority and break the law. Yeah, and again, the U.S. Embassy website, I mean, first off, when I go to a country, not every country is visa-free entry for Americans. Most are, not all are. Whenever I go to a country, I go to a Google and I do a search to find out if there's a visa requirement for me to enter the country. When I worked in embassies, I would take my passport to the embassy travel section and ask them to check, and they would go get me a visa. For instance, if I needed one to go to Togo, they would get me one from the French embassy, and then it's good for 72 hours in Togo until I'm there. If I needed one for Cote d'Ivoire, I would go to the Ivory Coast embassy. You know, it's you have an obligation as an adult to check these things. He heard that there was a refugee program, so he decided to seek asylum. Asylum and refugee aren't the same thing. Rion, hey, thanks for all your great work. Happy birthday. Thank you very much for that, Rion Heyman. I hope you had a good Christmas, too. What's my definition of Afrikaner? How do you think it differs from someone who lives there, who live their life according to Afrikaner way. Why does it matter what I think an Afrikaner is, Rian? Why does it matter? Tell me why it matters. Tell me why it matters. I live in France for 7 years and still struggle to speak French. Do you know how many times the French has been rude to me about my speaking English? Well, yeah, because the French are rude. They're one of the rudest people in the world if you don't speak the language. I learned French in 3 months in California. Je parle français fluent, aucun problème. J'ai jamais habité en France, mais je parle la langue française depuis plus de 25 ans. C'est très facile. On doit facilement essayer d'apprendre la langue. C'est très facile. Les gens qui ne veulent apprendre les langues étrangères, ça c'est pour moi quelque chose de très bizarre. Comment est-ce qu'on peut habiter dans un pays étranger et pas apprendre le langue? C'est bizarre, n'est-ce pas? I don't understand how you can live in a foreign country for years and not speak the language. I don't. I've lived in countries all over the world and made an effort to learn every language I've been in. Sorry, hello to you. Late today, I was tired of driving to come visit my family, especially brother and his wife. Well, I hope you got home safely, okay? I meet people every day did not know. Okay, so I read Napoleon's comment already. When I traveled to Egypt 2 years ago, I went to the Egyptian embassy website to learn what not to do, and the American government website to see any warnings. Exactly, Caustic. I agree with the previous chat. Trump's idea with refugees is to win the Rugby World Cup. Maybe in 2031 when it's on American soil. He gives them a 6-year head start. Speak Afrikaans is better, if you say so. I love when you speak foreign. A lot of people on this page do not know the difference in the beginning. Yeah, but it's he left in September, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. He waited 7 months to do that, okay? It is entirely plausible there are many people who do not know about the refugee program. Correct. But it's not plausible to say that I learned about the refugee program and so I came over to declare asylum. That's not plausible. That's not plausible. That's not plausible. No, they're rude to Germans, especially. They're rude to English speakers. They're rude to Dutch speakers. If you don't speak French, you don't have the best experience. If you try with French, you know, it's not too bad. Germans will tolerate you speaking English pretty easily. Dutch will tolerate you speaking anything because they're pretty fleecent and everything. But no, the French are just like that. I mean, I've told this story before. The first time I went to France was to Metz and to a little town called Bitch. Beach. It's Bitch, bitch. My friends, we got to go to Bitch. So we went to Bitch, France. We drove over the border. We went there. My friend who already spoke some German, Mike Walton, and our German friend Uwe, we're walking down the street, and there's a French couple, and so my friend walks up and says, "Excuse me, do you speak English?" And the guy says in English, perfect English, "Yes," and kept walking with his wife. We just ignored him. So he's like, huh? So he went up to me and said, sorry. He said in German, he says, do you speak German? And the guy spoke perfect German. He says, yes, I speak German. He kept walking. He walks up to the guy again. He says, I'm sorry, in French, do you speak French? And the guy says, but of course, in French. And then starts talking in French. But of course, my friend couldn't speak that much French. They're just very, very much like that. Antonio Villas-Shiraz. Interesting name. Yeah, they have a team called Brest, exactly. Had a bad experience in Germany with people that didn't want to speak English to us to explain where we need to go. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Just don't say seal pushed me in the shower. What? I worked with a German guy, Uwe, in Argentina. We had no problem in France, spoke Afrikaans, and they were so helpful. Huh? What are you talking about? A race and what money? What are you talking about? Anna Kruger's doing well. Someone asked about her. No one. Okay. Accountability from the government. Well, I'm screaming for accountability. Je comprends parfaitement ce que vous dites, mais le dire n'est pas aussi facile que de le comprendre. I thought you didn't speak French after 7 years. You just wrote it in French. You wrote it better than my writing. My writing in French is not so great. It takes me a while to do it. Okay. No, I don't. Look, I mean, I'm not dumping on you, but I don't understand how people can live in a country and not learn things. I mean, you got to learn something. I mean, look, I get it's easy to live in much of the world and just, God bless it, this chair is stuck on the carpet here. Adjust it a little bit there. Anyway, so yeah, so the poll's up there, folks. If you want to vote in the poll for Menina Benjamin Schoonwinkel, who heard that Trump had a refugee program, and his friend in Arkansas said, you should come over now. So he got on a plane and flew over. Also, Mr. Schoonwinkel's, now I will admit that what the New York Times told us may not be the full story. He may very well be the victim of racial persecution, but the story the New York Times shared is not racial persecution. It is not racial persecution. This is what his claim was for racial persecution, according to the New York Times. Okay? In his asylum application reviewed by the New York Times, Mr. Schoonwinkel said he'd been persecuted based on race, political opinion, and membership in a particular social group. That's a boilerplate claim. He said he was attacked in December 2014 on his farm by 2 black men, claiming they beat him, tied him up, and held him at knife point, and the property was looted. I lost all my hope of walking out alive. I still have deep emotional scars. No doubt he does. I don't doubt that. And no doubt the attack happened. No doubt it was black men. Most of the crime committed in South Africa was committed by black men. It's just reality of demographics and a statement of fact. So where's the race element? Where's the persecution? You were robbed on your farm? Hey, take a number, buddy. Who wasn't robbed on the farm? There's no basis for there's no basis for asylum there. There's no basis for refugee status. You can't just get on a plane and go where you want. We did this earlier. I mean, I want to live in the Western Cape, so I called Expedia early and booked a flight for tomorrow. I will be living in the Western Cape just because I want to on Monday. I have the means. I'm just going to live there. Buy myself a big property. I'll have everyone over for a braai. Yeah, we'll have a big braai. Yep. But we'll do it by rainbow. Today, whites. Tomorrow, coloreds. The next day, black folks can come over. Mark says the French are arrogant, ungodly people. They're getting punished. Paris is a crap hole. Cannot believe I got engaged in Paris 33 years with my wife, and I speak fluent French, Spanish, Vietnamese. You speak Vietnamese? Wow. Okay. Is your wife Vietnamese? Because they used to have French too. Numeric says in French seems like a pain. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How wide do the security checks for applicants go? Would it include a family? Yes, they do check into your family. That's correct. But your family's actions won't have a bearing on you. But it's necessary to get a full picture of who you are. A Scottish French teacher, that would be an odd situation. How does New York Post get asylum documents? New York Times, not the asylum. Not if he shared it. Not if his lawyer, Mr. Rosenblum, was it Rosenblum? I got his name wrong. What's that guy's name? Rosenbluth. Mr. Rosenbluth shared it. Yeah, then, oh, thank you, Ivan Bernard, 200 Rand Super Chat. I was wondering what the Super Chats are. May says he's an opportunist, type that climbs over dead bodies to get his needs met. Can't abide by liars, needs to discern them. Yep. Apparently some don'ts when visiting America are don't touch Americans, don't forget to tip, don't rely on public transport, don't talk politics. You can talk politics all day long, Andrew. You're welcome to talk politics with me. Yep, I believe he should. But you should tip people if the service is good. I don't tip if the service isn't good. Americans don't like their space invaded. That is 100% correct. We are not like Europeans. Should follow the rules. All of the rules follow. Exactly. People should follow the rules. Never ask for ketchup in a French restaurant. Yeah, they don't like that. They don't like that. I'd rather spend my holiday in Sao Tome than Paris. I'd rather spend my holiday in the Orkneys or in the Åland Islands or Svalbard than Paris. Yes, I've been to Paris. I've had enough of Paris. I was there for the World Cup, and that's the last time I ever need to go to Paris. Yeah, I've been to Paris too many times. No. And like I said, I read the story, the survey, 27% of French citizens want to relocate from France. They want to leave France because of the taxes and the messed up country and all its rules. Yep. That's crazy. It's crazy. You must add Spanish. We are taking over Cape Town. No, I don't think so. Ron has been to Sao Tome. It's a crap hole. Yeah, no, I have never been to Sao Tome in Principe and have no interest. Smee says, I wouldn't visit France even for free. Yeah, well, I was there for the Rugby World Cup in 2023, so I had no choice. That's where they put it. It was supposed to be in South Africa, and it wound up in France. South Africa had the best bid. Shocking that South Africa had the best bid for the 2023 Rugby World Cup when you think back about it now, folks. It's shocking. How in the world did South Africa have the best bid? I mean, I was upset that South Africa didn't get the World Cup. But now South Africa will never get another World Cup. Not the way things are going. I've never been to Andorra. I've been close. I wanted to go to Andorra, but it's just a bridge too far. And besides, it's another mountain kingdom. I've been to plenty of mountain kingdoms. Snow, welcome to you. Well, Renee, you can not judge people, or you can make decisions, prudent decisions based on people's actions. France sucks, but I'm in St. Bart's. Ooh, French West Indies, 97% white population, also not part of the, even though we're French territory. St. Bart's, Ron, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me you were in the Caribbean. No, Chippy, I don't speak Spanish. I understand it, but I don't speak it, and I refuse to speak it. It's a language that people were abusive and oppressive towards me when I was a child, so I will never learn Spanish. No interest in it. Also, the intentional political effort to bifurcate and divide and destroy American society based on the imposition of Spanish in a country where it's not normal. Spanish was only resident in Florida, in New Mexico, parts of Texas, Arizona, and California, not the rest of the country. But it's been forced down our throats. States like Maryland have bilingual things now. I refuse to speak Spanish. And I feel offended whenever people speak Spanish around me. I do. People speak Tagalog. They speak Farsi. They speak Arabic. I'm not offended in America. But they speak Spanish, I'm offended. Yep. If that hurts people's feelings, too bad. Deanie, you're welcome. You have a good day. How are we doing? Did we get to 500 likes yet? Let me check on that. Yeah, we're over 500 likes. That's good. Get a little bit of super chat revenue, too. Yeah, no, St. Bart's is a huge air traffic jam at this time of year because everybody's down there. Yeah. Ivan Bernard, thank you for your membership, man. Thank you. Paris is horrible, but still better than Paris. Huh? At least something to see in Paris, like amazing architecture. Yeah, it's okay. It's not that exciting. So, what's the story in Minnesota? What with the scams? I saw a video of some guy who's in Minnesota who went around to all these fake health centers and autistic centers and child care centers, and he's trying to find out. It says healthcare. He said, "Well, can I get healthcare here?" And there's nothing there. So the Somalis that are there that are bilking taxpayers out of hundreds of millions of dollars didn't like that he was there reporting, so they called the cops and said he was trespassing. So you have a public business open to the public where the public can come in and are supposed to be able to get child care or health care, and a person came in to inquire about it. Obviously, he was there doing investigative reporting, but he came in to inquire about it, and you called the cops because he was trespassing. And the cops said, well, you have to leave your trespassing. These people are complaining. Well, who gives a shit if they're complaining? They're criminals. Why don't you investigate their crimes instead of harassing an innocent civilian? I mean, if you're not open to the public, then put a sign up and say, not open to the public, don't trespass. See, that's bullshit when a business pulls that crap. If you enter a business legitimately and then they call the cops on you for trespassing, that's nonsense. Now, if you enter the place legitimately and they refuse you business and then you refuse to leave, then you can call the cops. But that's not what happened in this case. It's pretty funny to watch. French lessons. We had Afrikaans, Boudiki, and an Indian guy also learning French. It was fun. Seems like the U.S. is gradually withdrawing from Africa. Nope. Untrue, Sean Nadir. Where do you get that from? We just signed healthcare deals with 4 African countries that have promised to provide half the funding and do responsibility themselves. So instead of just giving a man a fish, we're teaching a man to fish. We're still giving a little bit of fish, but not the whole fish. So no, that's a mistake. The United States is not withdrawing from Africa. That's fake news. That's a false analysis. Nope. The United States also just bombed the snot out of terrorists in Nigeria. We're investing billions of dollars in the Lobito corridor in Angola. Yeah, no. The United States is not withdrawing. That's just a false impression. That's maybe something the media is pushing. Yeah, Somalia is pretty nasty. And the Somalis tend to be pretty nasty. Well, kids have to learn a second language in school. It depends on the school district. I didn't have to learn a foreign language in southeastern Ohio. I studied Latin, don't remember much of it, but no, there was no language requirement to graduate from high school. Most schools don't have that. Some private schools have it. Most schools do offer language, usually Spanish and French and maybe German, depending where you're at. Yep. New deportation centers. Cool. Speedway Slammer, Louisiana lockup, Fort Bliss. No, we don't need people at Fort Bliss. Never liked Spanish or Spain. They torture bulls, waste tons of tomatoes, and I think it's okay to have consent at the age of 12. I didn't know that. I thought that was the Netherlands. You know, the Netherlands lowered the age of consent to 12 at one point back in the 1990s. It's been raised again. No, Sean. What I'm saying is that's what the media is saying. So you didn't get it wrong. You heard that somewhere. But I'm telling you, the United States is not withdrawing from Africa. That's a myth. That's simply not true. We're not really heavily engaged in Africa to begin with. So the other thing too that will give people credence to is, well, they relieved 13 ambassadors. Well, that's because those ambassadors were not doing the job that Trump wanted them to do, so they've been pulled back. That's what happened there. Anyway, yeah. What's the news on Thea? Well, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to hear it from Thea again unless that message finally got to her. Let me look and see. Okay. Nope. Last communication I had with her was on December 2nd. And she read my message. She wrote back to me. And then on Christmas Eve, I wrote to her. And there's only one tick mark. So Thea von Straten may have disappeared forever. Yeah, so I don't think I'm ever going to hear from Thea again. I'd be shocked if I hear from her. Absolutely shocked. Hey, Topi, take care. If Germany almost gave up German for English to be American, the Spanish should do as well. Exactly. I agree with you, Michelle Rowe. Japanese is smart, yeah. No, El Marie, I haven't heard from her. Could you tell me where is the highest radiation rate in all U.S. America? In Idaho. There's a place in Idaho which has really bad radiation. Aurora, what's going on? Are you arguing with people? I've seen lots of comments back and forth. What's the issue? Good night, Erica. Your granddaughter speaks Thai. That's interesting. Of course you can gift memberships, Ivan. Why not? Lots of people do it every day. You can gift a membership. Do it. Good night, Erica. Yeah. So people are becoming more empathetic, I think, to Mr. Schoonhofer as we go along. So 14% say we should have empathy for Mr. Schoonwinkel. I said Hofer, Schoonwinkel. 86% do not agree. They think we should have no empathy for him. Yep. Interesting statistic there. But they tried to jump the queues down to 48%. There's no issue just chat. Okay, Aurora, I'm just asking. Okay, I thought you guys were arguing. I'm just asking. Thank you. If we move to Alabama, we'll be able to have a pet crocodile. Matthew Dixon, your crocodile will eat you. Portuguese have great liquor. You say so. I think that the education system they have failed the children so badly they don't even know how you get pregnant. That's cultural differences are cute. Linguism. Still, you only need 1 point. France to win a World Cup. Well, no, they need 1 point to advance to the semifinals. That wouldn't have won the World Cup. Or you mean the South Africans only need 1 point? Actually, they needed 3 points. Quarterfinal, semifinal, and the final. They needed 3 points. Bella says, first time I joined your chats. Well, welcome, Bella. What happened? What happened to Thea? I don't know, William. Probably because of the Sunnyside Prowlers fake news story about her husband or her partner, whatever he is. And I called him out for lying. And notice how when I expose the lies, the story is dead. It just died. Remember how they tried to make a big deal from, spilling the tea. Oh, yes. Oh, Thea's not legitimate. She lied. It's not true. And then the guy, I didn't say anything bad about him. I just said, whoever this person is not telling the truth. How do I know that? Because I know that there was a confrontation at the hotel. I know that U.S. agents were present, security officials were there, and they had to restrain and remove the guy. He stalked Thea, followed her from the Free State all the way up to O.R. Tambo, and then tried to confront her. Drunken Yoda. There you go. Ivan just gave 20 memberships. Thank you for that. I'm going to turn the alert box off for a minute, though, because it'll drive people nuts. So I revealed that and then briefly covered it. They didn't quite get the story right, but they covered it. And the story has just died. Why has it died? Because that was all lies. But no one's held to account for the lies. No one's held to account. The gentleman said that, well, the first time I knew she was gone was when I saw that she landed in America. That's a lie. Because whoever her partner or husband is stalked her to the airport, and law enforcement had to get involved. It's a matter of public record. Yeah, there are dozens of witnesses to it among the 59ers. Not Thea, though, because she didn't even know what happened because she left to meet me in Pretoria East for the interview. Yep. Oh, my goodness, your daughter broke her hand and put pins in it, Paula. That's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Ouch. That sucks. Got out of theater. You mean out of surgery. You see, that's South African English. You're going to hang with someone, just leave it. Yep. Okay. Yeah, no, I think that she's just had enough, but I'm not going to pressure her. But I did send her a message. I'll keep sending, but I don't know if she turned her phone off or she changed her number, but whatever. We're here. She knows how to contact me. If she can't remember the number, she can always come in the chat one day. Yeah, no, she took a lot of abuse. It's a shame. There aren't two sides of the truth. There's the truth. There aren't two sides. There are two viewpoints, but there aren't two sides. And that guy, whoever that was misleading people and lying. Anyone else buffering? No, everything's fine on this end. Oh, excuse me, because I watch the program the same as you are. It's funny because I'm here, but on this screen, I'm still yawning because it's 4 seconds behind. Yep. Oh, people getting more empathetic. Only languages I speak are American, English, and Southern. Says Cost a Chameleon. What's this? The songs you played at the beginning of the broadcast available on YouTube and Spotify yet? I don't know if I've loaded either one of those. Let me go see. I can't recall. Let me look and see. So it was Cyril. Which ones did I play at the beginning? No, I don't think I've loaded those songs. Let me see all my songs. Show all releases. Cyril's Big Blunder. Yes, Cyril's Big Blunder is located. That should be uploaded all over the place. But the other one I haven't loaded yet. That was the raid on Woodmead. The raid on Woodmead has not been loaded yet, so I need to load that. Oh, I got more money. So I went from $50 to $68. So I have $68 from my music. Woo! Wow, not a whole lot, but it's something. Not a whole lot, but it's something. Where in the USA can you live with no werewolves or vampires? I don't know. Florida. Suggests that barbecue is quite different between U.S. states. I don't understand. What do you mean by that? How is barbecue different? People barbecue in different fashions all over the country. Some people use wood, like a braai. In Arizona, when I was in Arizona, I used mesquite wood, which has a nice flavor to it for the wood, the creosote or whatever it's in there. It makes it taste very good. Has a good smell to it. People use charcoal most places, and people also use propane. Yeah, so all of those things to do it. They filmed Vampire Diaries near me. Speaking my language, back in the day, wine was a choice for American leaders. No idea what that wine is. Madeira. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. No, sorry you're buffering, Benjamin. Hopefully it gets sorted out. Jan Kutsi just gave 5 memberships. Wow, thank you for that, man. Now we got 25 memberships handed out. Cool beans. Thanks for that, guys. Appreciate it. Update the YouTube songs, my daily cleaning playlist. If you can, please add Steve's song. Isn't the Steve song on there? I thought I had the Steve song on there. Let me see. Oh, I guess I didn't. Yeah, I need to add. You're right. I need to add the Steve song in there. Thank you for that. I'll make a note of that. Steve song and There's a couple others, so I'll load those up when I get done here. I've just been busy. Today's going to be the first time I get a chance to catch them. So 12:30, we should have this other game underway now. Let me take a quick look in Flow Rugby and see what's happening in the Connacht and Ulster game. That's live now. Let's see what's going on there.
He's busy this evening, isn't he?
20 minutes. Finlay Beelum.
To the players.
20 minutes into the game and no score.
Yeah, Finlay Beelum against Sam Crean there. Putting him all under pressure. The ball getting stuck in the channel didn't help.
Yep, so 20 minutes into the game and no score. Oh, wow. Dexcom Stadium, one side of the stadium is completely empty. By the way, the Welsh games, lots of fans turned out for those games. And then also for the at Murray Field in Edinburgh, the Edinburgh and Glasgow game had a huge crowd too, as well as the English Premiership games. A lot of people going to games this Christmas weekend, which is pretty cool. Do you know the historical link between Dracula and no link between Dracula and Pennsylvania? Vlad Dracul was a count in Romania. Will need to hide who I am. My ex is worse than Thea's. He will make loads of cock for me. Sorry, but it's okay. It's okay. You definitely can be. We can definitely hide you. That's fine. No problem with that. We should have another FGU interview coming up this coming week from Buffalo. Tell you about California. What about California? It was once paradise. It's been ruined by too many people and too many leftists. There's still a nice place to live in California, but the taxes are outrageous. The price of living out there is off the charts because of government actions. Oh, Connacht is driving. Don't do this. I picked Ulster to win this game. Inside the 22 now. Yeah, California has the Finlay Beelum with the ball. He's driving forward. And did they strip it from him? I can't tell. Nope, they still got it. Connacht now driving hard, coming down the. Oh, there was space there, but the gap closed by Ulster very quickly. And is there a knock on? There's a knock on by Connacht. They turned the ball over just 7 meters out. So much for that. They had a chance there, but they didn't quite get it done. Yeah, no, California is beautiful. I mean, parts of it are absolutely stunning. But California has a lot of problems. It's led by political lunatics. Yeah, so what do you want to know about California? All right, I'm going to end the poll, I think. 325 votes. So there's the poll. We're going to end it there. 325. I ran it for half an hour. So by and large, people just don't have any empathy for Mr. Schoenwinkel. Of course, this is probably a biased audience. Many people here are refugee aspirants and not happy that somebody circumvented the system while they have to wait. That could be why. Just saying. Anyway, we have to allow for every possibility here. Oh, yeah, definitely knock that on. Okay, I'll teach your kids about the birds and bees and bees and bees. What's this? Bad weather, crappy wireless internet, then again, everything in good days. Okay, Gavin Newsom has a new nickname. We now refer to him as New Scam. I always thought his nickname was Gavin Newscom, as in New Scum. Who's laughing at people speaking Afrikaans? Well, Ronaldo does it to me all the time. He thinks it's funny. I don't. Never knew there was a difference between refugee and asylum until I became educated on this channel. As far back as 30 years ago, I was thinking of becoming an asylum seeker. Well, it's because people use the words interchangeably. They say that refugees seek asylum. No, they seek refuge. That's the difference. Anyway, so if I ever come for an interview, okay, got that. Grass is greener. Yeah, that's a good one. Elmarie says her heart goes out for Thea. You know, I understand. I appreciate it. But Thea doesn't have to go quiet on me. I've never put her in danger. I would never put her in danger. I've also never pressured her. I've never pressured her. So, I mean, she doesn't have to cut off for me. I mean, that's her prerogative. That's her business. But she doesn't have to cut off for me. I mean, maybe she's watching right now. If you are Thea, feel free to reach out to me. If you don't want me to tell people we've been in touch, then I won't tell people. I've always respected your privacy. I respect everybody's privacy. Yep. Yep. Yeah, so I don't understand the question about barbecuing. I answered that one. Transylvania, yes, not Pennsylvania. It's a fortified wine from Portugal's Madeira Islands. I know where the islands are, but I didn't know it had any ties to USA. It's news to me. Phone battery is dying. Okay, sorry to hear that. Farming is huge in California. Yes, it is. It's a major part of the economy in California. Massive. All kinds of farming. Everything you can think of. vegetables, fruits, grains, nuts, berries, everything under the sun. Yep. What story is listed on News 24? What story are you talking about? I'm going to News 24 right now. Oh, there they go. Oh, they did it. Look how long how many hours am I ahead of them? So let's see how many hours I'm ahead of them. Okay, so yeah, there it is. News 24 just posted this story. And so that was posted at 1 o'clock my time. And what, about 12 hours ago I posted my story? Let me see. When did I post my story? I doubt they even referenced me. They referenced New York Times. So videos. I published that. Come on, when did I publish that? Hang on. Yesterday, what time? 15 hours ago. So I'm 15 hours ahead of News 24. Surprise, surprise. Not at all surprising. News 24 publishes a story. Do not apply for refugee program triggering mandatory detention. Yep, well, they got that right. South African man to travel U.S. believing President Trump is public assurance to Afrikaners and other minority groups. Oh, now they're getting the story right. And other minority groups. Thank you. Thank you, Nuxmalo. Finally, it's not fake news. Nuxmalo is telling the truth here. We're finally getting the truth out of News 24. Wow. Thank you, Mike, for the 7 Rand super chat. Yeah. He said that believing that Trump's assurance that Afrikaners and other groups would be facing alleged persecution would be welcome. He spent 3 months in immigration detention. Yep. Detained at the airport, placed in handcuffs, transferred to federal detention center. Yep. Yep. Asylum can only be requested after a person is already in the United States or a port of entry, such as an airport. Yep, but if you're at the port of entry, you're detained. Yep, that's actually news. Wow, well done, News 24. That's actually news. My goodness. News on News 24. What an amazing development. That just shocks me to my core. And this is my video on it, folks. It's an AI-generated image, by the way, of the dude getting arrested. Good evening, folks, and happy Boxing Day, day after Christmas. Happy New Year. That's just a few days away. Well, not so much happy for one South African national, an Afrikaner, who thought he could outsmart the system. Now, it's difficult to have empathy for people who do things like this. Ever since the 7th of February, I've cautioned people about the difference between asylum and refugee status. They're very different legal statuses. They're both covered by the same law, Immigration and Nationality Act of 1980. However, they have different circumstances. Many people have said, well, I'll just get on a plane and fly to America and claim asylum now that Trump is giving refugee status. I've cautioned and warned against that. Others have come on and said, you should do it. You should do it. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I was clearing my throat. It's the sound's not gone. I turned the microphone off. The color was off. Sorry. Quiet, Matthew, or you'll be timed out. So I'm responding to the comment a moment ago. Where did it go? It disappeared while you guys are all putting that stuff up there. Sorry. Someone accused me of overreacting. I'm not overreacting, and the U.S. is not overreacting. Who was that? Oh, there it is. It's just below Super Chat. Cody Tyson, you are welcome to your view and your opinion, as am I. But Mr. Schoonwinkel's story doesn't pass muster. It's not credible. At least the version reported by the New York Times. In the New York Times, he claims that he heard that Trump offered refugee status to Afrikaners. So his friend said, come on over. So he got on a plane and he flew over and claimed asylum. 7 months after the program was announced. If he did this in February, you might say, well, he misunderstood. But 7 months later, the man owns a farm, or at least works on a farm. I don't know which it is based on the story. It sounds like he owns a farm. Ostensibly, he's got some brain cells and he can figure things out. A simple check of the USMC website will tell you what the program is and how it works. No, I'm sorry. I'm not overreacting. No, not at all. The law is clear. Those who try to enter the country at an entry point at a port or border crossing and claim asylum must be detained. That is the law. The fact that the Biden regime failed to uphold the law for 4 years doesn't change it. It's not an overreaction by America. Not at all. And in fact, Mr. Schoonwinkel has done millions of people a favor. He's proven the lies that the media run about this story, about it being white people, not about being Afrikaners. It's not. If the program was all about getting Afrikaners out of South Africa, then Mr. Schoonwinkel would never have been put in detention. Would have been, hey, come on over. But can you imagine if we simply allow people to fly into this country, land in Atlanta, and say, hey, I'm claiming asylum. Also, his argument about asylum is nonsense. The one that's shared here. Now, I haven't read his asylum case. All I have available to me is what the New York Times shares. And I'll admit that that may not be the complete story. But I didn't complain about his story. What I said is based on the information that's available here, it's bullshit. He was attacked on his farm, tied up by 2 black men, and his farm was looted. That's not persecution based on membership in a social group or race or religion or sexual orientation or political persecution. It's not. It's a victim of crime. Who is not a victim of crime in South Africa? That is not a justification for asylum or for refugee status. I'm not overreacting, Cody, but you're welcome to your opinion. But I'm not overreacting. Do you see me overreacting? I'm simply cogently, lucidly, clearly explaining what happened with Mr. Schoonwinkel. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Again, I will allow the New York Times is not telling us the whole story. But the fact that he's been in detention for 90 days would tend to indicate there's something more going on here than he's leading us to believe. Just think how big your bank account must have been if you got $10 every time you had to say there's different. Yeah, imagine that. None of us are perfect. It takes courage to speak another person's language. Oh, we're talking about language again. Endo's calling me Jason Bourne of the news cycle. Yeah, Cockprod 24. But they got the story right. They got the story right. Thank you, work people. You watched it, okay. And I was muted. Sorry for that, guys. What did Alan say? His skeleton staff as the editors are all getting hammered somewhere. Yeah, the editors aren't there to change the story. Question then, what happens to your marriage in a case like that? Expensive attorney to file a divorce. I have no idea, enemy. No idea. I don't know how that works. Because it's not a place for connecting flight as it's like 10-seater. Oh, St. Bart's. Oh, come on, guys. Don't you watch Death in Paradise? We see those little tiny planes land on those tiny islands. Mock Afrikaners. I never mocked an Afrikaner. Conrad says, I think Schoonwinkel was too impatient. He most likely looked at both options and thought asylum would be faster, but he failed to do proper research. No, I think he tried to defraud us. I think Mr. Schoonwinkel used to work for Nike because he just did it. Sean, that's good. Love Hate wants to know, do I think about the claims that Schoonwinkel is an ANC plant? No. I don't think he's a plant. Because his detention actually credits the program. It undermines the entire ANC argument. If anything, he would be a plant by extreme right-wingers, but that's a pretty serious plant. He's not a plant. No, Mr. Schoonwinkel's case proves that this program is not about farmers or Afrikaners or white South Africans. He is a farmer, an Afrikaner, and a white South African who flew to America on a tourist visa and sought to undermine our immigration system by claiming asylum at the border. And he was rightly and legally detained until his case is reviewed. And that's all there is to it. So by being a farmer, Afrikaner, and white South African, if this was all about giving them succor and refuge, then he should have been just let in the country. But we don't do that. So that just proves that the media lie and politicians lie. When the BRICS unit becomes global currency, will the dollar crash? The BRICS, well, there is no BRICS unit. There is no BRICS currency. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Rumor. Well, you listen to rumors, Mark Feldman? I don't listen to rumors. There's nothing to back BRICS currency. There's nothing back it. The Chinese economy, which is a complete disaster. You know, until they allowed Saudi Arabia and Venezuela and others to enter BRICS a couple of years ago in 2023, when I was in South Africa covering that conference, China made up 85% of the GDP of BRICS. Now it makes up 68%. There is no BRICS without China. And without Bill Clinton and U.S. Congress, there is no China. They're the scumbags that sponsored China's entry into the World Trade Organization, which they've completely violated the rules and ever since they've entered. So no, and if it wasn't for the collusion of the tech titans and of industry titans around the globe, shipping all of our manufacturing from South Africa, from Europe, from North America to China, then there would be no China. China was a failed society. It hasn't succeeded because of the China model. It hasn't succeeded because of their political system. It succeeded because we've been sold down the river by wealthy people who sold our manufacturing off to China. IBM sold off its laptop division, the ThinkPad, to Lenovo. And all of these people sold us down the river. That is how China rose, because they stole, they cheated, they lied, and then they protected their economy while they destroyed their environment. China is a joke, and BRICS is a joke. There will be no BRICS currency to replace the dollar. Not in my lifetime. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Kathy says, I will not believe this. Many have not heard about the program. I know there's a lot of people who never heard about the program, Kathy. That's a big difference between someone who says clearly, I heard Trump say that Afrikaners can come as refugees, so I flew to America and claimed asylum. What? I mean, this isn't an 18-year-old who just finished his matric and doesn't know better. Give me a break. No, it's not. See, people say anything about this. So it'll all start now because of this guy. But this proves the case. Do we think he actually cares about attention system that actually seems to work instead of being home sitting alone? Yeah. Well, that might be a good point there. Maybe in the States, I might miss South Africa so much that I speak Afrikaans and also constantly start laughing at the Afrikaners speak English. Connick 10. What? Connick is winning 10-0? That's insane. What is going on there? That's not cool. That's not cool. 10-0 Connick. Come on, Ulster, get your act together. Connick sucks, man. You can't be letting them win this game. You're going to kill my Super Brew. You can't have that. No, I know expats pen people watch me. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. I'm very grateful. T Publican says, Ekoni Baya Fanyoni. Oh, you're talking to work people. News 24, 20 hours of commie BS, 1 hour South African humor, 1 hour sport, 1 hour of sarcasm, 1 hour of truth. There you go. I'm English speaking and have mixed reactions, but will always help. Okay, says Jules. Okay. We can see from St. Bart's next to St. Martin. Okay. Whoops. St. Marie doesn't exist, but it is on Death in Paradise. Oh, okay. You got unsubbed twice recently, Mace. Yeah, I know it happens. Please, folks, remember your subscription. Just keep resubscribing. Took a short break, says Villy DeVitt. I don't know if you missed anything. It's been a while. Oh, Ingrid is pretty harsh on Skoonvik. No, he probably will never get in the USA. Be sent back to South Africa, most likely. So in essence, he must have lied in his visa interview about his intentions if he applied for it after February. That's why it took so long to go over. If he landed 12th of February, he would have had a difference. Exactly. Well, not the 12th. It was the 7th of February. 7th of February is when Trump announced it. The 10th is when the embassy listed the conditions. Yeah, if he had come in January, he would have been okay because the Biden would have let him in the country and then just give him a court date. Yeah, but they were not detaining people because there were just too many of them. That's why. You would expect him to have looked into the matter and researched. Exactly. The rand is getting stronger. The dollar's weakening. More than 38 trillion debt. It's not good. Well, yeah, the dollar's getting weaker because of ridiculous speculation. It's not going to continue like this. The dollar's fallen 9% against a basket of currencies this year. What if a South African refugee couple that's already resettled in the U.S. wants a divorce? Can it be done and how? Yeah. You go to the courts and ask for divorce. You don't have to be divorced in South. We recognize your marriage in South Africa, and our courts here will recognize it for divorce. You can get divorced in America. It's expensive, but you can do it. Don't do it in California. Don't do it in California. Don't get divorced in California. That's not the place you want to get divorced, folks. Not the place you want to get divorced. We can also see St. Kitts and Nevis from here. I never had the opportunity to go watch cricket there, though. Many South Africans are living in employment exile all over the world. Please interview at U.S. consulates. Nope, not going to happen. Not going to happen. Nope, sorry, Mark, not going to happen. The program is not for South Africans who have safety. You have safety. If you're living abroad, you have safety. This is not for you. This is not an immigration program. Sorry, man. Nope, that's not it. If you want to come to this program, you have to be a South African living in South Africa. Now, when H-2A visa holders and people in the Middle East asked me out there, said, well, look, if you're temporarily abroad on a contract, well, that's not the same as living there. I mean, if you just took a short-term contract of 4 months to go to Dubai to do some work, you still have an abode in South Africa. You still, that's where you live. You're just temporarily abroad. Like when I travel to South Africa, I travel to England or to Germany. I'm not living there. I'm just traveling. And I may go abroad for a short period of time to work. That's not living there. So in that case, when you're in South Africa, file your application, the intake questionnaire, which appeared on November 4th at the embassy website, fill it out, and then be ready to fly your bum back to South Africa for your interview when you're called. Keep your South African number active. Simple as that. Simple as that. I know people have done that, and it's worked. But if you're living abroad, no, we're not going to interview in those consulates. You don't understand the whole system. I'm going to explain this again. The purpose of embassies is not for refugees. That is not their role. We do not have embassies to handle refugees. That's not their role. They do not do that. They're there to represent the President of the United States of America, to foster relations and also to openly spy on the country they're in, just like their embassies spy on us here. It's a gentleman's game. It's an overt collection system to reduce tensions and improve relationships. That's the purpose of an embassy, and to share our contact with countries. It's not to process refugees. That's why the State Department has an entire different bureau for this. They do this under different people. They have PRM, they have USCIS. These are different organizations that are responsible for that. The embassy and consulate have no time to talk to someone who wants refugee status. Do not go to U.S. embassy or consulate anywhere in the world and ask for refugee status if you're not in South Africa. And don't do it in South Africa. You're wasting their time when other people need their attention. The purpose of the embassy in Pretoria is not to handle your refugee case. They don't do that. Going there will simply cause problems. Going to the consulate in Frankfurt or going to the embassy in Dublin is not going to help you. You're going to be turned away. You're going to stand there and wait for no reason. It is not their purpose. You begged it. Why did somebody delete your comment? Mark Feldman's comment's fine. I beg differ. Let's have a small BRICS currency will rule the world soon. Yeah, no, I don't know why that comment got deleted. I didn't delete it, Mark. That comment wasn't bad. If you want to believe that, you're welcome to believe it. It shouldn't have been deleted, so I just happened to see that. I'm on my way heading for California to take it from the lefties. Well, it depends where you go, Bella, California. If you wind up in Oakland, good luck. El Marie's taking off, okay? Just scored 10. Connick. Okay, good. So Ulster's got, okay, good. Ulster's back in the game. That's good. Okay, they'll win this thing ultimately. Took a bad chance, didn't work out. He's in control of his own destiny. Exactly, Billy DeVitt. I think that's the bottom line. Exactly. USCIS and the Customs Border Patrol don't care who you are. They just apply the law. End of story. Exactly. Doesn't care whether you're brown, black, blue, or green. Yep. Come to St. Bart's, have a tan on the beach, and we can buy some. Ruan, okay, well, St. Bart's. No, I'm not going to get a tan. I don't like the sun. So, St. Bart's. French-speaking Caribbean island known as St. Bart's. It's white sand beaches and designer shops. Okay, let's see what it costs me to get to St. Bart's. Antigua. That would be the furthest I've ever gone out. That's not really in the Caribbean anymore. That's actually in the Atlantic. Yeah, that's on those chain of islands. I've never been out that far. I've been around Cuba, I've been around Puerto Rico, but not St. Bart's. So let me just see how much it would cost me to get from MDT to St. Bart's. Probably a fortune. St. Bart's flights. Okay, let's see. Okay, we'll go January 12th, 16th. Let's see that. Okay. It will take me 23 hours to get there, have 3 stops, and cost me $900. I have to fly to Dulles, then Newark. And I don't even know where that one's at. How the hell does that work? Or I could spend $1,600 and it would take me 9 hours to get there. 2 stops. Philadelphia and San Juan for $1,800. I don't think so. I won't be going to St. Bart's anytime soon. Oh, that kind of money, man. It's more than it costs to go to South Africa. Daughter-in-law has never been to the seaside. We went to the west coast this summer with grandkids. Suggestions as areas. Jules, what are you talking about? I think I read earlier you're in the U.S. now. I didn't realize that. Where? What state? Tell me what state you're in. One is not a South End, married to Southern citizen. Will the partner lose her refugee status? Well, that's a very good question, Loretta. That's very possible. The person who is married to a South African and has a passport from, say, the UK, I don't know the answer, but I would guess they would probably lose their refugee status. You're only being granted refugee status based on the applicant who is a South African national living in South Africa, suffering from unjust persecution. If you're married and you come to America, you still have a British passport or a German passport, or an Austrian passport, and those are safe havens. So if you get divorced, I don't know, you shouldn't be considered a refugee. Yeah, that'd be my thoughts. I'm not a lawyer, but that's a common sense thing. So I'm not going to make an unequivocal statement that that's true, but I would expect that to be the case. On a different subject, what's your thoughts about the Canadian provinces that want to join the U.S.? Well, I only know of one. That's Alberta, which is vying for independence. If they want to join us like Texas did, that's their prerogative. Got no problem with that. Ulster, 14, Connick 10. There you go, Ulster. Way to go, boys. Yeah, it's funny how in rugby so many teams come back from trailing. It's the NFL it doesn't happen so much. If you have a person has a social security number and a green card, the fact that they are refugee wanting divorce will not get a factor. Are you playing divorce? Expats, it depends. On different stuff, okay. Why are people sitting in one country playing divorce in another? Yeah, well, it's pretty screwed up. Yeah, it is. It also looks to me like someone's trying to fraud. Firstly, I would drop the conversation topic. If this is something that you're looking at and you're getting interviews to come to America as refugees, you're going to sabotage your refugee. They're going to turn you down because it sounds like you're committing fraud. What military items are you allowed to keep when you retire? None. We get no military items. The only thing I have from my military service that I kept are the awards that I earned, and my uniforms, which I had to pay for. You fed the neighbors 3 cats. That's very kind of you. Yeah, you don't get to keep anything. This isn't the British military where you get to keep your firearm or something like that. No. None of that belongs to me. It all belongs to government, and that's where it stays. Anyway, there you have it. Wow, we've gone over 2 hours. I had no idea we'd gone this long on a Saturday. You get to keep your ego. Says the pilot. Yeah, there's people with tiny egos, pilots. Oh, my goodness. BRICS unit will happen for many geopolitical reasons. When this happens, you'll eat your hat with a piece of biltong attached. You're saying it will happen. That's very different than what you claimed earlier. You said it was going to crush the dollar. I said it'll never do that. You can create anything you want. That doesn't make it real. China's currency, according to the IMF, is convertible, but nobody buys China's currency in a conversion. I can't go to the money changer in or Tambo and buy renminbi. It doesn't work that way. No. Jules, again, please, I want to answer your question. Oh, we are thinking of, okay, Jules, you're not answering my question. You're talking Arctic. You asked me a question, you're answering Arctic. Seriously? That's rude. I asked you to tell me where. California, is that where it's at? What's the question here? You can apply for a job. All right, well, you're going to talk to Arctic, then don't ask me questions. Thank you for being there for our Lily, Angela Dutoy. Angela, I was giving you grief yesterday when we talked. You're very welcome. That's right. Good to see you there. No, she's a star. It's good to see her share her experiences. Yep. What happens when I'm in America and getting married to an American man? Is it then legal to get married as a refugee? Okay, Amanda DeBeer. Okay, so if you come here as a refugee and you wind up marrying an American, you're still a refugee. It doesn't change your status. Your American spouse must apply for you to become an American citizen. It doesn't happen overnight. Okay, but it's not going to be a problem. It's going to be a lot less scrutiny than people who come here to get married and defraud immigration. You obviously came as a refugee. You wound up falling in love, or swapping spit or knocking boots with someone who's an American, and it's going to be okay. But yeah, no, it doesn't make you an American citizen. That's still a process. Well, I appreciate it, Angela. That's awesome. Thank you for being here. Yep. No, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. I guess I stayed on long enough just in time for you to make it. The ladies prefer the pilot over the beard. If you say so, man. They prefer real men in uniform, not fake commercial airline pilots. Said goodbye to my son this morning. Only see him November next year again. Back to PE with his fiance. From there to the U.S. H2A. Alabama. Okay. Oh, those are all southern places. Ugh. What about a pilot with a beard? Well, we have a pilot with a beard, folks. We have a pilot with a beard. We do. We have a pilot with a beard. You guys have seen this, right? We have a pilot with a beard. Would it be funny if I came to South Africa and when I left, I'd be on a flight full of refugees? That's interesting. Watch. The next time I fly, I bet you I'd be on a flight full of refugees. Hey, it's a colonel. I wouldn't get any rest on that flight. 17 hours, people be coming up asking me questions the entire time except when turbulence hit. The captain is turned on the seatbelt light. Please return to your seats. Sit down, including all you people in the back of the plane talking to the colonel. See, we have a pilot with a beard. Jules, I was chastising you, okay? Because you were chatting with Arctic. Don't take offense. I missed your response. Which coast, South Africa, USA? That doesn't help. We have an East Coast. We have a West Coast. We have a South Coast. We have 3 coasts in America. So that's what I'm asking you. Arctic is confused by geography. I mean, if it was for GPS, he wouldn't be able to find the airport to land at. He doesn't understand how big America is. He claims he does, but he doesn't. He's just confused. So which coast? West Coast, which is very different. From Seattle to Oregon to Southern California, very different coast. Varied topography, varied experiences, varied beaches, varied weather. And then the Gulf of America coast, and then we have the Atlantic coast. All very different. Maine is very different, especially this time of year, than Florida is. So that's why I'm asking Jules. So please, you ask me, I'm happy to answer, but just let me know. See, Arctic is drinking again. There be a time where white South Africans not be hated? Well, I don't hate white South Africans. The time is for me now. I don't hate white South Africans. I don't hate black South Africans. I don't hate brown South Africans. I've not seen my brother since 2011, lives in Australia. Wow. That's a shame. Uma Verstoffer. Yes, me again has always got challenges, but he's done. Hey, Ronell, what's going on? At least this baby pilot does not have that horrible frown like the other ones. I got married to a French citizen, have a French child born, small business in France, but still. And you don't speak French. What? How can you be married to a French woman and then you still don't speak French? Come on, man. I know you're pulling my leg now. I have to abide by the laws and get residency every bloody year with a lot of paperwork. Yep, the law is the law. Yep. Oh, was there a super Iran? Always great live stream. Thanks. Thank you so much for the clouds are gathering. Shanalden said, is it many companies? Yeah, no, you can work, but security in America is different than it is in South Africa. We have security companies, lots of them. But it's not like South Africa. It's very different. So, but you can do that here. In fact, the guy in Buffalo is training for a security exam now because he worked in that industry. Every state has different rules. Yeah, qualifications probably not recognized here. But you just take an exam or take a course real quick and you should be good to go. Angel says, my us were watching you last night and raising drinks to you and Lily. Well, thank you, Angel Dutoy. I appreciate that. Well, my sense of humor got lost on Jules a moment ago. She thinks I was giving her a hard time. I was joking around, so I guess that was not so funny. Gulf America. Yep, there goes the internet. Was good for too long. Oh, wow. Wow, you're right. I'm gone. What the hell? Wow. Wow. Yep, there it is again. We're back. Wow. All right, we pushed our luck. Okay. Wow. No, there's definitely a problem. The speed's down to 1 megabyte per second. This is unbelievable. They didn't fix anything. They didn't fix anything. Wow. Yep, not getting enough data. We're going to have to end this thing here. All right, guys, I'm going to have to end it. So, yeah, the picture's kind of junk up. So, Jules, I'm sorry I didn't get to answer your question. My apologies. If you have contact with me, let me know, and I'll try to answer it there. So, thank you for that. 584 likes. Yeah, I bet he can swear in French, Hendo. I'm with you on that one. All right. No, I won't consider Starlink. Jules is not offended. Yeah, but I didn't get to answer your question, Jules. I'm trying to answer your question. I'm trying to answer your question. So, I want to answer your question. All right, well, that's going to do it, folks. Here, let's just turn the camera off. That way I won't be jumping around. There you go. So now there's no camera. So, yeah, I froze the data. Yeah, they are. They're throttling me down. There's something seriously wrong with all this stuff, folks. So anyway, all right. So be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done it already, folks. 589 likes. Appreciate that. Time to make a dinner. I've got to work on fixing my phone. That was my plan for this afternoon. You guys take care. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I'll see you tomorrow. We've got the refugee. Oh, is it back now? It looks like I'm back now. No, I'm not. Anyway, crazy stuff. All right, so I'm way behind on this. All right, that's going to do it, folks. Take care. God bless. And be well.